This episode of Limit Break Radio is made possible by our generous Patreon donors, including Tiz Oira of Brynhilder, Blaze Scorpio of Lamia, and Kaylin Branford of Ultros. Thank you so much for your support. If you want to support Limit Break Radio, visit patreon.com/limitbreakradio. And by Alamo City Comic Con, October 28th through the 30th at the Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center in sunny San Antonio, Texas. Alamo City Comic Con celebrates the artists that entertain us through TV, movies, comics, gaming, and cosplay. For more info, including badge prices, celebrity guests, hotel accommodations, and more, visit AlamoCityComicCon.com.
Live from Eorzea.
Limit Break with your hosts, Unhero.
It's a pretty brutal job sifting through all that darkness.
Kahlo.
Thank you, asshole.
Juxtaposition.
I'm kind of a favorite around here.
Ascalia.
Come on, man. Haven't we ever had an uncomfortable silence or an awkward fart on a road trip?
And Nika.
I certainly don't know what butt hurt means.
LimitBreakRadio.com.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Limit Break Radio, episode number 72.
Episode number 3 Days Till Deep Dungeon.
Yeah. I think that's really all anyone is thinking about at this point. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us live here at twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio. Let's kick it on over to our studios. If you'd like to join us live in Eorzea, you can do that at our free company house that is in the Goblet Plot 30, 5th Ward. Come hang out and check it out. That's on the Sargentana server. We invite you to join us and hang out. Thank you guys for joining us live here at twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio. We're going to take your live calls. Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715. Line them up. We want to know what you're looking forward to most about Deep Dungeon, but we're also going to be talking about some concepts that have never, either they've never made it to us, or they've changed, or they're still coming. We don't know what the status of some of these are, but we're going to talk about them. For the optimists in the room, you can talk about them as like, oh, this is stuff that we could still look forward to in the future.
It's going to be great when we finally get it.
For the rest of us, it'll be like, oh, look at this line of broken promises.
Broken promises and unfulfilled requests.
Right?
You know all about that, right, Becky?
So thanks for joining us. If you haven't yet, head on over to our website, limitbreakradio.com. You can subscribe to the podcast. We've got all of our RSS feeds that are available over there. Also available over on Google Play, so make sure that you, if you use Google Play, that you have subscribed over there. But if you use iTunes, like 90% of the podcast listening audience, then we're going to ask you a favor. We're going to ask you to just take a couple of minutes and go to the iTunes store. Find our podcast over at the iTunes store, either at Limit Break Radio or the LBR Podcast Network, and leave us a review. We don't care what your opinion of the show is. We just ask that you leave a review. It helps other people find the show. And actually, if you hate us, you can tell other people that you hate us. Do it, dude! It's not that big of a deal.
Apparently for like 3 hours earlier in the week, Limit Break Radio just disappeared off iTunes. Like, really? You would search it, and it would say, you search Limit Break Radio, be like, no results.
Really?
Yeah, and then it just came back.
Oh, well, that's good.
I don't know why that happened, but we were gone for 3 hours.
Yeah.
It was enough time for someone to tweet out, like, oh, God, the show didn't get canceled, did it?
Failing podcast.
Yeah,
Failing podcast.
There you go.
iTunes doesn't even want us anymore.
Yeah, right.
Definitely not someone not spelling Limit Break Radio right. Definitely not that.
I think they were accidentally spelling Pokemon Go.
So, by the way, we would like to invite you to join us over at our sister channel, twitch.tv/Final Encountercast. There we go. That's the right thing. At 5 o'clock, we're going to be doing our Pokemon Go show. And
by popular demand by the hosts.
Yes, by all of us internally. Yeah, we're going to be talking all about Pokemon Go. So if you've been playing, if you've been catching along with everyone else in the world, it seems like, then make sure that you join us over there at 5. We're going to have a nice big discussion about that.
It's just an excuse to be able to play Pokemon Go while we podcast.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
By the way, tune in next week when we talk about Pokemon Go again.
So thanks for joining us. We're excited to have you here. By the way, we are supported by Alamo City Comic-Con. You should check them out over at alamocitycomiccon.com. Some of the recent guest announcements include AJ McLean, former Backstreet Boy and star of Sci-Fi's Dead 7, as well as cast members from Sci-Fi's newest series, Z Nation. Including the actors and actresses that play Cassandra, 10,000, Doc, Addie, Scorpion, and Murphy.
I love the cast of this show.
Really?
They've got names like Scorpion and and Doc and 10,000, and then Murphy, and then just Murphy. As well as the Final Symphony San Francisco Symphony performance. That's happening July 27th. We again want to congratulate our 2 winners, the 4 tickets that we gave out to that show. That's happening July 27th at the San Francisco Symphony at the Davies Symphony Hall. Make sure that you check that out at sfsymphony.org if you want to get tickets. If you want to hear the music, that's spielemusicconcert.de, and you can check out limitbreakradio.com for our interview with Eckhard Stier, the conductor of Final Symphony. There's 2 other performances that are happening in North America. July 21st at 8 p.m. at the Copley Symphony Hall with the San Diego Symphony Orchestra, and July 23rd at 7:30 at the Meyerhoff Symphony Hall with the Baltimore Symphony Orchestra, which I understand that Nika will be in the crowd for.
I will be.
I'm so jealous because this is going to be an amazing performance. Nika's going in blind. She was in Japan when we were interviewing Eckhard Stier, and so she actually did not hear much of the music that we had played around that interview. So going in blind, I'm so excited to hear what you think. So again, that's July 23rd. That's coming up very, very quickly at 7:30 at the Meyerhoff Symphony Hall in Baltimore.
It's next weekend.
So Nika, traditionally, when you go to a nice symphony hall, you wear a dress or something very nice. Are you going to go in your Limit Break Radio t-shirt?
Well, they actually put on the website Cosplay Encouraged, so I might cosplay for it.
Oh.
Or you can cosplay as Nika from Limit Break Radio.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, I have my LBR bag. I always do.
You should have a ready-to-go Nika cosplay. Just saying.
Yeah,
the Nika cosplay.
Nika cosplay. There you go. That's kind of clever, actually.
Nika hates it.
Now we have to...
No, it's kind of funny, actually.
Yes, I'm getting an S cosplay.
Now we have to give her own show about cosplay.
Cosplay show.
And call it Nika cosplay.
Do you know how many people would be thrilled about that?
Yeah, no, I think that actually would...
I think that would do well.
Yeah, I think it would do all right. So, okay, let's check out what's going on in FF14 news.
This is a Limit Breaking News Update.
So, Square Enix has expanded FF14 service now to Singapore and Hong Kong.
Oh, the announcement we've all been waiting for.
Yeah.
Square Enix announced that they're expanding their MMORPG title Final Fantasy XIV today, including new regions from Asia with Hong Kong and Singapore for PC and Mac. 2 new Asia regions in Hong Kong and Singapore will get Final Fantasy XIV. If you're wondering why Hong Kong doesn't count as part of China's region, it is likely because the license with the Chinese company doesn't cover Hong Kong. Considering that those in Singapore and Hong Kong speak English, they're likely getting the standard version that includes English, French, German, and Japanese language options instead of the Chinese language data center.
Interesting.
Huh.
as a special introductory promotion for residents of Hong Kong and Singapore. All versions of Final Fantasy XIV available on the Square Enix online store will be offered at a 50% discount from the manufacturer's suggested retail price. Final Fantasy XIV is available on PlayStation 4, blah, blah, blah. We already know where it's available. So, yeah, that's kind of an interesting move, and we might actually see some of these folks on our servers because they're not being put into the region-locked data center with the rest of China.
I didn't realize that Singapore and Hong Kong previously didn't have service.
Yeah.
Right. I thought they were on the Chinese data center. But.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, technically, they're not China, so I guess...
That's true.
I don't know.
So...
world politics.
Eastern places are weird.
Apparently, the EU campaign for DLC was a complete disaster.
It's a dumpster fire.
It's stupid.
What happened here, Square Enix?
It's because Britain left the EU.
It's because of Brexit.
I don't
I love that word so much.
I don't think that that's true.
Brexit.
It sounds like a funny word. It sounds like you eat like a meal.
Breakfast, yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
It sounds like what happens to my meal after I'm done eating with it.
Sounds like just the 3 coffees in.
Hashtag poop jokes. So apparently there's there are some privacy concerns regarding the use of email and attaching a selfie to send codes to a shady/unknown third party.
Some 8-year-old snapping a selfie to send over to an email.
Well, a community rep says that a selfie is not required. I mean, this is kind of a bizarre...
They said that was the only way to get the Fat Chocobo mount.
Yeah, it's because the campaign is take a photo of yourself holding the printed bonus items code from all 3 of the above magazines and send to Game Master Magazine via email.
So you don't have to do it.
Well, okay,
it's not required to live.
You have to buy. But you have to buy so much. Okay, so you have to buy each. There's and you have to wait months apart, right? Because it's each month's issue of this magazine.
Right. Yeah.
So you buy one this month to get some codes, and you buy next month, and then you buy the next month, and you get all the other crap.
Right.
And then Then the only way to prove that it's yours and you didn't just snag it off the internet is to have a selfie with all of those things. Send that selfie with all 3 magazines to them, and we'll send you the Chocobo code.
Limit Break Radio has better contests than this. This is ridiculous.
You're not wrong.
Do we need to have like a shit contest? Like, do we need to go head to head with Square Enix and have a worse contest than this?
Oh, yeah, I think that's a great idea. I think we should absolutely do that. But by the way, if you wanted to know the details for the rest of that, after you take the photo of yourself, oh my God! After the photo has been confirmed.
Confirm it.
Read FAPT2.
The in-game bonus code for the mount will be sent back to you via email. Redeem the code at the MOG station to claim your mount.
I've done calculus problems that make more sense than this.
Yeah,
This is bullshit.
That's not sketchy at all. So yeah, the email verification of the 3 codes for the Fat Chocobo, but the single codes don't require a verification. 2 of the 3 issues are unavailable for purchase online.
You actually have to go into a store to buy them.
Yeah.
Oh, heaven forbid! You have to walk.
Do you know what shopping for magazines is like these days?
Yeah. Have you tried to find a specific magazine?
I mean,
Barnes & Noble has a magazine section.
if you're playing Pokemon
Barnes &
Go, I
Noble.
guess you might be able to get some exercise while you're doing it.
Yeah, take
Totally,
a Pokemon Go.
perfect excuse.
Yeah, catch that jinx while you're at it.
Yeah, because oh my God, Barnes and Noble are so everywhere in the UK and in Europe, right?
I don't know.
Don't they still use like medieval castle libraries?
I'm sure they.
Your words made sense, but your sarcastic tone did not.
I bet they have some kind of bookstore, whether or not it's Barnes & Noble, that has a magazine section, like a mainstream bookstore.
Yeah, isn't the EU all about reading and being smart and stuff? There's tons of books over there.
It's Britain, right? So they've got kids on the corner. Paper, paper, paper. Get your paper
With the stupid hats.
Yeah, right.
I like how it's apparently always 1928 in our mind in Britain. The year has never changed.
So more issues with this DLC campaign. There's a 2-month wait for the third issue to become available. The SEA not included on the list of countries for future campaign.
What's the SEA?
I've actually
the C?
Student Council.
I don't know.
There's no C in there. It's S.
Oh, I thought. I said SC.
Senegal? What is SCA? I don't know what that country code is.
I don't know.
Why is Callow abbreviating things?
Seattle?
Yeah, Seattle's a country.
Seattle, okay.
Yeah, there we go.
That makes sense. Okay, that's legit.
All right, yeah.
The third party is totally dodgy and biased.
Southeast
apparently.
Asia, there you go.
Oh, okay, Southeast Asia there. Magazine is useless / unknown to some. Nobody reads them. In comparison, Japanese players could hydrate themselves with water and drinks from 7-Eleven. North American players could pick any useful item that fits the gaming category from Amazon, while EU players are stuck trying to track down these magazines like goddamn Pokemon.
Okay, well, you know what? Magazines are not useless, okay?
Really?
No, you read it and you gain information.
What's the last magazine you read?
It's called Smart Thinkings, okay?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Smart Thinking.
You read a magazine called Smart Thinkings.
No.
The cost needed to get all the rewards is more expensive than the North American campaign.
Maybe not after Brexit, it's not. How much is 27 euros now?
I actually have no idea.
$1.20?
It requires much more effort finding the copies and actually sending the email of the codes, and a longer wait time, 2 months wait.
That's good. Delayed gratification. We're teaching the EU something.
No, it should have been like that all around. If they were gonna make
happy with that.
See, that's the thing, is that I would have been fine if everyone had to jump through those kind of hoops.
I think everyone should have had to do that.
I agree.
It'd be so rare.
It would have been better.
If they're willing to walk far enough, they should be able to get all three at once, and the requirements are gradually eased as time passes.
Oh my god.
Juxta got it a minute late.
I don't know why everyone couldn't just have 7-Eleven. Like, I feel like if 7-Eleven agrees in Japan, it's all the same franchise. Like, whoever owns the giant overseer of 7-Eleven, I'm sure could approve it in other countries too, because it's everywhere.
He's still dying.
Juxta's losing his shit.
He's almost as red as his shirt over
there. Players living in countries that won't be covered by the campaign may have to resort to buying the magazines. Shipping is an additional cost to them.
I love all these people who are going to have to order a magazine from 3 countries over.
Well, that's the thing though. When was the last time that you were able to track down an issue of, I don't know, is Beckett's Online Gamer still a thing? Did they close that down yet?
I think so.
Why would they not close it down?
You get that? I just think the last magazine I read was Nintendo Power.
Yeah,
oh God.
And I was about 10.
The last one that mattered, right?
No, yeah, I used to read Electronic Gaming Monthly for a while.
That's only Nika because you worked at GameStop.
Well,
Be honest.
No, this was when I was in high school, because I think my dad got a subscription for me or something like that. And my dad used to read computer games monthly and stuff.
I was gonna say I had a subscription to Electronic Games Monthly because I worked at GameStop, and I could not it wasn't optional. They were like, no, you have to.
I continued it. Yeah, I continued it when I worked at GameStop.
Fair enough.
But they let you do it electronically.
Well.
I wonder if there's
glad to know you still know all the selling points, Nika.
I know.
You got to push those power-up rewards,
Never be out of my system.
I assume the check's in the mail, Nika.
But I do wonder if I assume there's not electronic versions of this magazine you could buy.
It doesn't sound like it, no. Players that reside in the rest of the countries that fall in the EU FF14 region are worried about having a similar campaign for their country.
Please, God, don't do this to us.
Yeah, this is really not a good idea. There's apparently very limited copies in stores.
Right, apparently this is not a very well-cycled magazine.
Yeah, that...
If they knew that this was going to be part of a campaign, you think they would print more of these particular issues.
Or you would think that Square Enix would go out of their way to find somebody who actually has the proper distribution behind their
Or that.
What intern was in charge of this?
I can't help but think. I'm sorry. I just can't help but think that there's more people who listen to Limit Break Radio than probably read this magazine. So, like, why not? We can give away some.
That's
DLC
probably true
codes
of most magazines these days.
I don't think we have enough codes to give away to the whole EU.
There's misprints of rewards. The magazine mentions 50 Aetheryte tickets, but the actual reward is 30 Jandelines tokens. I don't even know what those are.
They didn't get one word and or number right in that.
It's not
I got
even
some letters right though.
A couple, yeah. Like E.
The first issue is already sold out online. Some copies of the magazine do not come with the code.
What?
So it's oh my god!
You have to get lucky with the episode or the issue that you get.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
It's like hunts. If you didn't claim it quick enough, then you're fucked.
Game Master's email support is clueless about the campaign. And, that seems to be the list of things I mean...
It's a fucking dumpster fire.
Chat, those tokens are the free esthetician haircut tokens.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Wait.
That explains why I have no idea.
tokens that's what you get?
Yeah.
30 esthetician tokens?
Yeah.
Actually, I like that better than the Aetheryte tickets, though, because it costs $2,000 to change your hair. Whereas an Aetheryte ticket's a few $100 go.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, yeah, but
it's still
how often are you changing your haircut that you need 30 fucking tokens?
I change my hair all the time.
My god!
You're paying $27 to save that.
You also are getting the other stuff too.
Terrible. Terrible.
Just let me buy a Slurpee or anything off Amazon.
Well,
3.0 misstep.
Yeah, right. At least that this is like fairly localized. You know what I mean? Like it's not. Well, like they have time to do damage control on this.
Wasn't the NA actually just for us here in the 48? And I don't think Canada was able to get in on the Amazon.
Who cares about Canada? Fuck Canada.
They should be glad they can play it all.
Yeah.
Even though they have our data center.
What they're I
think you're right though. I don't think
they have computers run by beavers there. Okay, I don't.
And square wheels on their tires.
Yeah. I don't want to hear it.
Hey, Canadians can't play Pokemon Go, so that should tell you everything you need to know.
I tell you something, buddy.
Ooh, salt in the wounds right there.
Right. Yeah. So we do actually have some Amazon DLC codes to give away. So I actually kind of like your idea, Juxta, of trying to do a shittier contest than Square Enix.
Right?
Yeah.
What can we do that's even worse?
I don't know. I feel like coming up with something on the spot is a pretty good start.
Oh shit.
So
Nika, what's like the worst contest that you would still enter?
Oh God, I don't know. I don't enter a whole lot of.
What you don't cut out the back of your comic book and send it in for like 25 proofs of purchase?
Hold on.
I mean,
are we
I
trying?
would probably take a selfie. I would probably take a selfie. I would have no problem doing that. But
So the question is it supposed to be shady or is it just supposed to be like really annoying to difficult to enter?
I'm sort of ambivalent. I'm sort of thinking like maybe
fiction contest Milcaria.
Oh no. We're not encouraging that. I'm thinking like why don't we take our cues from their contest, but instead of having to take a picture of yourself, like why don't you take a
picture of your foot?
No.
Without any socks on, of
Well,
course.
the thing is, you have to prove that it's not one person spreading the photo to millions of people, or like someone just taking it off the internet. So it has to
Okay,
be
so you have to write your name on your foot with a red Sharpie. Has to be red. Blue is also accepted, not black.
Well, I think maybe a picture, some kind of, because if they have to. Okay,
We just need the foot, Nika. Okay.
Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna create a selfie. We're gonna create a selfie frame on limitbreakradio.com. We're gonna post it a little bit later, and basically, what it's gonna be transparent. It's gonna look kind of like a what do you call it? Like a Polaroid.
And you have to drive 100 miles per hour.
No.
And
And all you'll have to do is take a selfie of your character, put it in the frame, send it back to us, tweet it around. It'll have a Limit Break Radio logo on it, and as long as it's tweeted to us, then
available NA only.
Are you suggesting the return of Fapping the Realm?
It should be a picture of you listening to LBR because we don't have magazines to read.
Yeah, you have to pay for a transfer to Sargatanis to enter. You have to be in the LBR studio.
Well, take a picture of what you do in-game when you listen to Limit Break Radio.
All right.
If you farm, if you've been working on your anima, what do you like to do when you listen to Limit Break Radio?
We're going to get pictures of two people just in their underwear in rooms.
Oh, yeah, I fully
Too much
expect
ERP going
fapping.
on.
I fully expect fapping.
Hold on, we need to make this clear. Is this an in-game selfie?
In-game selfie.
Okay. It's going to be really hard to get feet in that picture then.
Did you develop a foot fetish between now and last week?
Seriously.
Did you not?
Anyway.
All this walking around got you interested in your foot or something?
So,
okay, Pokemon Go, you're looking at your feet all the time. They're not half bad looking feet.
So basically, what we're going to do, we're going to have the Polaroid frame available for you to take and do whatever you want with at our website, limitbreakradio.com. Look for that later tonight. We'll have that posted up in our blog section. And then just take that frame, put your selfie in it, and send it back to us. Tweet it out.
I feel like we need some one more caviat to this to make it just awful.
This is
sounds like an actual contest.
We're gonna just pick our favorites. We're gonna pick our. There's no randomness to it. It's completely subjective, opinion based.
Totally wins on this whole shady contest thing.
Yeah, maybe.
Wait, what if we take bribes in game?
Yeah, but you know what? It's actually a kind of decent contest now that we've said it out loud. So
he's so proud that we actually came up with a decent contest. He's like, well, we got to go with it now.
Yeah. See how easy that is, Square Enix? Goddamn.
Okay, but
we tried to do a bad contest.
Let's just think this through. Before, we tried to make up a contest on the spot, and it failed horribly.
Right.
We tried to make a bad contest on the spot, and we got something that's pretty decent. Are we bad at making bad contests?
We very well might be.
Okay, just want to make that clear. We're bad at being bads.
Yeah. See, this is what happens when we don't try.
That's what happens when you get good.
Yeah.
It's hard to get bad again.
I guess. Anyway, so, look for that post at our website, limitbreakradio.com. That'll go out soon. I don't know how many... I think Kooky can tell us how many codes we actually have to give away. I don't actually know how many we have to give away.
I didn't know we had any.
Yeah, that's actually the first that I read of it was actually at the end of this outline. That's why I got to the Game Master's email support is clueless about the campaign, and that's
we have
it.
Some DLC.
Contest time.
Yeah, we actually have some of those. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, thank you, guy.
Yeah, appreciate it.
We're going to ask Callow about it later. I have no idea what we're talking about.
Shout out to Todd for donating those email codes.
Todd's.
Multiple.
It's just Todd's.
It's Todd S.
Thank you to all the Todds.
Okay, well, thank you, Todd DS, then, because there's a D at the end of it. You have to pronounce every letter, apparently. Or something.
TODDS?
Okay, we've learned how to spell on the air today.
Okay, now we're getting our shitty contest in. Okay.
There we go. Yeah, it's not a shitty contest. It's just a shitty episode. That's okay. Hey, so we'd love to hear from you. Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715. Limitbreakradio.com/Discord if you want to call in on Discord. We want to talk to you about anything you want to talk about, whether it be the jumping potion, whether it be Deep Dungeon that's coming out in 2 days. What are you super excited about? How is your anima grind going? Mine has.
Do we want to talk about jumping potion?
We could, if that's what people really want to talk more about.
No. No more.
I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna prevent you from talking about anything you want to talk about. So
open lines, right?
Give us a call. Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715. Limitbreakradio.com/Discord. We're gonna talk about some features that we've heard about. But
they were mentioned by like Yoshi P or people in Final Fantasy XIV development.
Yeah. At some point, whether they be like an offhanded mention in an interview or there was actually some time given to it, we're going to talk about that here in just a minute. So, Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715. Real quickly, before we get into that, I kind of wanted to give you guys an update because I know not everyone listens to Final Encountercast, but this is something that we talked about a little bit on Final Encountercast. If if you've noticed that I have not been around recently on stream for reset days, stuff like that, I have been working very hard behind the scenes on a couple of different things. The first thing is that I took a new job, which is awesome. It's actually at the place that I was working before. It's at the same radio station I was working before, but they flipped their format and got rid of a significant portion of their staff, kept me and about 4 other people on to serve as technical directors in the interim. And so, I basically am getting about 4 times the amount of hours that I was getting. So
congrats on working 4 hours a week.
You're funny.
I know.
So I'm adjusting to the new work schedule, but there's also something that we've been working on behind the scenes, and I can't tell you too much about it right now. But we are looking at, we've got a couple of big projects in the works. We got the LBRnetwork.com launching here pretty soon, and to go along with that, we're actually working on a bit of new content. And we're excited to be working on this new show. We've got a couple of partners helping us in the planning stages to get this off the ground. And there's a lot of exciting things happening in the background surrounding that show. So, the possibility of what we're looking at here is maybe content 5 days a week from LBR Network. That would be crazy, right?
5 days. Game, baby. Well, I mean, I would venture so far to say 6 days a week.
Including this show. Yeah,
I would say 6 days a week. There's an LBR fix to be had.
Yeah, so we're looking at seriously upping the amount of content production, and that's all being done thanks to your support over at patreon.com/Limit Break Radio. I mean, this is pretty big. This is pretty massive. And the other thing that I'm doing is at this new job is that I'm. It's kind of a big deal because I've never really tried for something like this, but I am trying to. I'm pretty much aggressively going after a pretty serious promotion over there. So it's like I've got movement going on 2 fronts. There's a lot of movement here with LBR and everything we do here, and there's also a lot of movement going on at my job too.
Usually when a Nero talks about movement, he's talking about his pants, but
or my bowels. Bowels.
Yes.
That too.
Or more recently, actual movement with Pokemon Go.
Yeah, we'll get into that on Final Encounter. Don't worry, guys. But yeah, it's pretty exciting, all of the movement that's going on with with both of those things. And I'm super excited. But it's really I've seen it this week. It's really been a bit of a hindrance on my free time. I've barely logged into FF14 at all in this past week. I mean, really, I have not even done my macaque run.
Yeah.
It's bad. It's really bad. So
I mean, the amount of movement that's going on is even affecting like all the stuff that's going on with the Nero is like pouring over into me, and I haven't even done my macaque run either. From all of his movements.
I don't think that's how that works. That's definitely not how that works.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Oh, I feel like it's really affecting me. So.
I don't. It might in the near future.
Maybe not in
Master of Coin.
In like the theoretical level, but definitely in the emotional level. It's affecting me.
Yeah, I'm sure.
This is the worst pitch for more time off I've ever heard.
Look, here straight up, I've been in meetings all week. I've had to wear suits.
You own a suit?
I do.
How did you not tweet a picture out of that?
This has been a busy week. Not just for me as a producer, but as a company for Limit Break Radio. It's been pretty huge, and I can't wait to share with you guys what we're working on because it's pretty fucking amazing. So that's just something to look forward to, guys. Thank you so much for all of your support, whether it be through PayPal, whether it be through a sub here at Twitch, or whether it be over at patreon.com/Limit Break Radio. We appreciate your support. You have gotten us to this point. You have gotten us this far. And we really appreciate everything that you guys have done. We're looking to take it to the next level, but we still need your support. So patreon.com/Limit Break Radio is how that's done. $1 a month gets you access to our bonus content that we release every week. We've got the post show with Pops and Kook that, of course, we broadcast here after Final Encounter wraps up. And we've also got the Green Room show that we record out in the Green Room, where we just kind of sit around, talk about the
Game of Thrones.
Not anymore.
Now Pokemon Go.
Now Pokemon Go.
Okay,
yeah, that's true.
And just to give everyone a little perspective on how big this has been, Aniro has called a hosts meeting twice before this happened.
Yeah.
Once was the inception of Patreon.
Yeah.
And once was the inception of Final Encounter Cast. This has been the third host meeting we've had.
It's kind of a seismic move. So we're pretty excited about it, and we're super excited that you guys are going to be along for the ride. So.
It's almost as big as my dick.
Wow, Nika bites on that one.
Don't encourage him, please.
Nika with the pity snort.
All right, let's go to our phone lines. We've got Adria Beliska of Balmung. Hey, what's going on, Adria?
Hey guys, how y'all doing today?
Good. Thanks for calling Limit Break Radio. What would you like to talk about?
Just talk about the jump potion. I know I'm probably going to wear that out just like everybody else has, but
you can't wear it out any more than we have.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Right. So, what about the jump potion?
So basically, I've been listening to you guys for the last month now, and I just discovered you literally like maybe 2 months ago.
Nice.
And I've really enjoyed the show. It's been awesome. It's been very entertaining, especially when I'm at work and I have nothing else to do, and I can sit here and burn 3 hours of my day listening to you guys. But however, I've been listening to everybody talk about the jump potion, and I was sitting here thinking about it because I play World of Warcraft, and I've been playing that ever since beta. And when World of Warcraft actually came out with the jump potion, I guess their version of it, it really kind of diminished the game.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is, when you used to level up and then you switch over and start doing all your crafting, your trade skills and stuff like that, that was a lot of fun. Like, it was so much fun to be able to make gear, sell it on the auction house, and make a profit, and you can make money on the game. But once they implemented that jump potion, basically what happened was they just totally destroyed the whole entire market, the whole auction house. There's no one that buys level 1, level 2, level 3, or any gear on the auction house anymore in World of Warcraft. And if you do, it's typically because it's like a level 100 piece of gear.
Right.
And so now crafting has come to a point where you're just at a stalemate. There's no point in it, so why even have the fucking shit in the game? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. So when Yoshi P's talking about possibly implementing this into Final Fantasy XIV, it really kind of made me mad, because I was like, man, you've worked so hard to make crafting in this game so unique and fun.
Right.
It's amazing, man. It's so much fun. And I just know as soon as they do this and everyone's going to jump up to level 60, people aren't going to be making the money off of all the gear and products that you can make in the game anymore. And that just basically annihilated half of your game.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
I never thought about that.
Yeah, actually, we've heard about Jump Potion for 3 weeks, and I never once thought about the economic fallout of it.
Yeah. That's a great point, because when the thing about about crafting that makes it a system that works is that you're generally making gear for people who are just coming to the game, trying to get through the leveling system. They want to progressively get their gear better and better. And when you subvert the need for leveling, then you subvert the need for gear basically 1 to 60, and the only gear that becomes relevant is that gear at 60. I mean, you compare that with FF11. today, right now, FF11 right now.
Absolutely.
And it still has a very thriving economy, and you can actually, if you know a good piece to craft that a lot of people want to use at low levels, or in the mid 50s or the mid 60s, you can kind of make some bank on that. It's not like it used to be where crafting is silly, but
well, I mean, Scorpion Harness was always worth paying.
Right. But that's what I'm saying.
And Hubbard and stuff.
Yeah. Right. And even though it's not worth bank anymore, and a lot of those crafting items are a lot easier to find, they're a lot more
at this point.
They're a lot more ubiquitous. Yeah, there's still relevant enough pieces of gear through the leveling process that you're still going to want a Scorpion Harness through your mid 50s or 60s, right?
Well, kind of. I mean, you level so fast now that you can usually you can pass on a lot of pieces.
But it's not right. And gear is secondary, and it's not as important as it was back in the old days of FF11, where you needed to, keep your gear current and stuff like that. And that's the way that an MMO should do it. But the point is that it's still there. Like, you can't take your level 1 town gear and run around in that until 75 and then go get, a whole bunch of easily accrued point gear.
You're right. Even just my last level up, I had to go get new gear every 15 levels or so.
And that's I think absolutely that's part of the fun of MMOs. Yeah. I mean, accessorizing stats, customizing stats, and FF11 was like a really great example of a system that worked really well doing that kind of stuff. And they kept gear relevant because there's no fast forward button. If that fast forward button existed, if you could just pop a character open at 99, then there would be no economy.
Well, the other thing 11 had going for it in that view is it had capped fights. It had things where you were capped to 40, capped to 20, capped to 60.
And they didn't level sync your gear.
Right,
you had
level sync
to
gear. You actually had to have that armor still.
Actually, that's also a good point.
They also had that going for them.
That's also a good point. But yeah, no, I think that there is some very real considerations when you're talking about the economics of a jump potion, and suddenly are we going to see the feat taken right out of crafting?
I don't think they're going to introduce jumping potions and have crafting as a selection. You can't start the game as a crafter. I mean, this isn't 1.0 anymore. So
interesting.
I really don't. I think they're just going to have it as the battle classes only.
So, Adria, if it applied only to battle classes and not to crafting classes, does that address the problem enough for you, or do you still think it's going to be problematic?
I still think it's going to be problematic. I mean, because not only is it just gear, but it's every aspect of the game. I mean, it's the economical aspect of the game. If you can't make money that way, how else are you going to be making money?
Right.
I know you can sell pets on the auction house, and like in World of Warcraft, I was telling Nika, I was like, the only way that you can actually make any money off of World of Warcraft now is selling like sky golems and choppers, and taking a full month to make the stuff in order to sell it and turn a profit of maybe 4 to 5K. So your gold is almost like, let me go ahead and buy a WoW token and get some gold, and then, try to sell it on the auction house or whatever you can do to make some extra money, which I've not done. My buddy does that to pay for his WoW subscription and all that. But for Final Fantasy, it's such a fun game. There's nothing monotonous about it. There's no redundancy about it. There's so much to do in the game. There's not just one way to level. There's multiple ways to level. There's multiple ways to craft and build stuff in the game. You can make furniture. I mean, you've got an array of stuff that you can make.
Right.
But you're going to get to the point where people aren't going to want to play the game anymore, because now you got people like Mithri that is just an amazing crafter and enjoys the game, and,
from only that aspect. I'm pretty sure Mithri doesn't actually have any battle classes. He only...
Oh, he does.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
Okay.
Does.
Well, I know, but he focuses mostly on crafting. Yeah.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, primarily on that. And then basically what happens after you implement the jump potion, okay?
Yeah.
That's exactly what World of Warcraft did. is they introduced heirloom gear. Oh, so we fixed the gear problem. No, you didn't really, because now you have heirloom gear that levels up with you always to level 100 now. So that really just foodbars a whole entire auction house and that whole side of the market. So you really don't need any gear until you hit level 100 now, because you've got the heirloom gear.
Yeah.
This whole conversation makes me feel like we're talking about 14 as if it were a 10-year-old game.
Yeah, no kidding.
I'm not going to go so far as to say, by the way, that FF14...
I don't want that to happen.
I won't go so far as to say that FF14...
I just don't want that to happen to any kind of Final Fantasy 14 game, because this is an amazing game. Like, it's by far my favorite game that I've played yet.
Yeah.
And I just think it would just take so much out of the game, and then it would just be like, what's the point of me logging in to even try to do crafting at this point? You know, and then you're going to have the people like other individuals have talked about, where you're going to have a level 60 person come in there and start doing raids with you and just making you wipe over and over again because they don't know what they're doing.
Yep.
And my solution to that was, I believe it was a couple weeks back, someone actually kind of touched on it, was why don't you have a couple different servers solely for those people that want to do the jump potion and get into the game, that don't have the quote-unquote time to level up someone. To me, you're just lazy.
Yeah,
if you don't have time to do something, it's because you don't make time. If you don't have time to go to the gym, you don't make time to go to the gym.
Right.
It's kind of hard. I don't understand why people
eat 3 meals a day.
Don't really think too that if you don't have time for an MMO, you probably shouldn't be playing an MMO.
Right.
I'm sorry to deliver the hard truth of the matter, but if you don't want to put the time in, or you really can't, find a game that fits your play schedule.
Yeah.
Don't force them to change the game for you.
Strange world where we got Nika dropping the hard truth.
Well, but that's the thing, though, is that, I feel like gamers, especially younger gamers, maybe a generation below us, the answer seems to be not, rise to the challenge or accept the form, but that the game needs to change to fit their needs, to fit their lifestyle. And, the cry of, like, it's not fair, the we wants. Yeah. I mean, I gotta say, we've done a pretty good job at countering those, at counterbalancing a lot of those attitudes. But I think that's a very young attitude to have to gaming, because,
well, you know what?
It's really, I think it's ridiculous to say, hey, developer, this is unfair. You need to change this. You mentioned it being a part of a younger crowd. You might be onto something there, because when I think about that mentality of, okay, can I pay money to make it go a little faster or something like that? That sounds like a mobile game. Yeah.
Which younger gamers.
Yeah. That's exactly
Maybe that's where the mentality comes from.
But the thing is that game companies, they make so much money off of it.
Oh, a fortune.
You can almost
go brought in already.
Right. You can almost not fault them for trying that.
Oh, no.
But the thing is I think that audiences are going to be different. Certain audiences are going to be more receptive to stuff like that. I don't think that we are. I don't think that the audience that this game has cultivated is going to be receptive to that, because at every turn, whether it's FanFest 2014, whether it's, PAX, the reception has been, and the feedback has been from the dedicated players of this game, put the challenge in there. Don't blunt the edge. Don't dumb it down. Don't, no story mode. That got a big cheer at FanFest when they were talking about that. That's, I think, what they need to lean into, and they've spent 2 expansions, because I'll call ARR an expansion, but they've basically spent 2 expansions supporting the lower and mid end of their game, and it's now time to really lean into the end portion of the game. Adria, thanks for the call. We really appreciate it. If you want to call Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. And of course, Adria, we want to welcome you to the fold, recently finding Limit Break Radio. That's awesome. I love to hear about people who just find the show. So,
that's one of my favorite things to hear, is like someone, oh yeah, I listen to you guys while I'm at work. I love hearing that, because I think about it a lot when I'm at work and just like bored out of my mind. It's like, God, Wish I had a podcast I could listen to that I'd like or something like that. Oh, this is why people listen.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like hearing how people would rather listen to a podcast instead of doing something they hate to do. That really makes me feel happy.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to be realistic. I don't think anyone's saying, like, yeah, I was going to have sex with my girlfriend, but LBR was on, so, you know, pass. All right, outside of Thor.
I don't know. I think it just happens at the, you know, like people will just get down to the show.
Yeah,
that's what I think. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Nothing helps you get it going like a Nero just raging in the background.
Exactly. Yeah. You form a good rage boner. Come on now. Come on.
Get her done.
Lots of hate fucking during LBR.
That's right. That's right. Again, Limit Break Radio
conversation ever.
on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. We want to hear from you. We are on the cusp of Deep Dungeon, guys. I feel like we have waited so long for this.
God, I feel like we're just putting it on such a fucking pedestal.
I know.
It's going to be...
Yeah, it's never going to live up.
I know.
Calm your expectations.
Man, you guys are such pessimists. What the heck?
Is this your first day? Is this your first time?
Hi, welcome to LBR.
Yeah.
Wait, Nika, do you think...
Are you new?
Do you think it's going to live up to all of our grandiose expectations?
I actually, for this one, I do.
Really?
Okay. Well, I mean, to be
Deep
fair,
Dungeon
our
is gonna be so fun.
Yeah, our expectations are pretty well set within what we know the event is.
Okay, well, you know what? I got Skynemist, okay? So I'm going to curb my enthusiasm.
Yo, Squirrel so fat, it takes him 2 trips to haul ass.
Good one, Warswine.
Nailed it.
Nice.
We get a donation from him every week to burn Skuro.
Yes, it's the weekly Warswine Skuro burn.
You realize that Skuro's like pulling his weight, and according to Warswine, that's a lot.
It's $1 every time, so you know
about what he's worth.
Yeah, okay, all right, that's fair. Anyway, so yeah, we are right on the cusp of Deep Dungeon. You know, that's the thing is, I feel like some of my enthusiasm has been lost. If it was 1 week earlier that this had come out, it would have captured some of the momentum. That may be just how busy I am.
I would say if it came out this week, you wouldn't have had time to play.
That is true. That is absolutely
We'd be doing
true.
this show with you saying, "Yeah, sorry, I haven't done it."
I would have made time.
Yeah,
I would have made time because that's the thing is that
He would have let that chance go.
Yeah, that's right. I would have. Yeah.
No, you wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't. It popped in my living room. Come on now. Pokemon Go jokes. Anyway, so no, I would have made time. That's the thing is that for Deep Dungeon, I think that I would have made the time, especially if knowing that we're going to talk about it on the show. There was times that I could have logged on to 14, and I ended up
playing something fun.
With myself, playing with myself.
Oh. Something fun.
Yeah, right. So
the under comment there is that I play with the Nero. Yes. Never mind.
You want to walk that one back?
Oh my.
Let's just move on.
He's good with it. Let's just go.
All right. Okay, that's weird.
Fan fiction confirmed.
That is weird. It's officially weird.
I love you.
So with Deep Dungeon coming out, we thought,
I might even kiss a dude.
No,
yes, my favorite drop.
That's not what I was thinking. But with Deep Dungeon coming out, we thought, there have been a lot of other features that because we heard about Deep Dungeon a long time ago. The first that we ever heard about it was Yoshi P making mention that he wanted to add a Final Fantasy Tactics style dungeon system with one that just kept going. And FF Tactics was the point that he used, like the point of reference that he used.
Right.
And so now we're, months later, we're seeing Deep Dungeon finally materialize. But there's actually been other features that we've been hearing about for just as long that we've not seen materialize, that we have no date on or idea when we could actually see these. So, again, we want to take your calls. Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. We'll take your calls about anything But we've got a little bit of a list here of things that
what has SE promised you that they haven't delivered on? We want to hear about it.
That's right. Bring all your grievances and disappointments to bear. Let's get all of this.
Yoshi listens to the show. He's going to hear you.
That's right.
Oh my gosh! Wow,
Are we allowed to claim that?
There's 24 summoners already calling in.
Summoners lighting up the lines.
So I think at the top of this list, the thing that we've been hearing about the longest, and I think the thing that the game would benefit the most from, is an API. We've been hearing that this game is going to have an API and have some kind of allowable app development for it since 2.0. And, the last that we heard as recently, I think, as 3.1, an interview surrounding 3.1, that there's still an intention on putting in an API, but that it may not be exactly what we thought it was. I mean, and now they've gone completely side, like we just don't hear about it at all.
Yeah,
if we ignore it for long enough, they'll all forget.
And I have to wonder if things like Guildwork had anything to do with that. If software like Guildwork had anything to do with that.
Like you think it soured them on it, or
no? I don't think that that's necessarily the case. There was a lot. I feel like there was a lot of third-party development that went on for FF11.
Oh yeah.
But I don't feel like there's as much that goes on for FF14. And I feel like if they got through to the other side of Hunts and they're like, the worst that happened was Guildwork, maybe we don't really.
SE hasn't really shown the animosity that they had for things like Windower.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that animosity's gone by the wayside.
Well,
yeah.
That and Windower was less about like blatant quote unquote cheating versus just quality of life things that
all the
Square
stuff
Enix
I use
refused to give
Windower
us.
for are actually in FF11 now.
Right, but what I mean, like SE was openly hostile against Windower.
Yeah,
they were.
Whereas they don't really show any hostility towards any of the stuff that we see in 14.
Yeah, I don't think that they do.
I'm talking about stuff like
and
recast timers in 11 on Windower and the buff timers and stuff. That shit's not in 11 yet.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. Unless I miss. Is it not on by default?
We had to be told how to turn it on during a stream recently, but it's definitely. You can also see party TP and everything. It's ridiculous.
Oh yeah, there's a text command. I forgot. We used it the one night, and then I forgot about it again.
Yeah, it's like I don't remember, but
there's a text command to give you a party readout of your TP.
Like you can
no. It's to turn on the scroll.
It on.
Okay. Yeah, to turn on the party TP
and you can also
recast
see
timers.
like the buff timers and stuff before they wear off. That's a thing too, but it's not on by default.
It wasn't. It was buff timers, not recast timers, right?
What the fuck? Why is this shit not on? And where do you find it?
I don't know. Someone in chat had to walk us through it when we were playing before.
Why do you need to be walked through like options?
This is FF11 because it's FF11.
I'm triggered.
Man, FF14 doesn't bring out that kind of passion in him.
No, it sure doesn't. Sure doesn't.
It's because I'm just completely ambivalent to whatever.
Ambivalent?
Yes!
There you go.
He tried.
I was thinking,
A for effort.
I know the exact word I want to say, and I cannot even think of how to pronounce it.
Ambivalent.
And then this is like 5 seconds before I even tried saying it, so I'm just like, why am I going to do this? Don't go there. Don't say the
brain,
word.
Stop.
Fuck, thanks a lot. Now I'm the stupid idiot. Thank you, brain.
Yeah, well, we already knew that. But look, I think an API could be hugely important for this game. But the thing is I'm not sure. Like, what would adding an API? What would a third-party app do that Square Enix hasn't really even done with quality of life updates already? I feel like we get a lot of information already about what's going down on screen. There's ACT and parsers, and they definitely need to add some kind of official parser. I don't think that.
Yeah, but other than that, I'm not entirely sure. Like,
yeah, what else?
What are they afraid of? I guess.
My one thing I really liked in FF11 was the distance app to let you know how far away you were from something. So, like, as a bard, you can stand at a certain.
But that's because
length.
That's because it mattered.
But
it doesn't matter in FF14.
There's much that matters in 14 about that.
Excuse you, in PvP, bard and machinist have a damage sweet spot.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I know that.
Do you?
I do.
Then why'd you forget it?
I didn't.
then why'd you choose to ignore it?
Because that's a severely limited application of that. And it's ridiculous. You wouldn't need a fucking app for that.
And who PvPs?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I'm actually not sure at this point what API development would help get accomplished.
I mean, maybe that's why they've been putting it off, because they're like, we've done everything anyway, and a parser is...
Yeah, maybe they just don't see a point, but they really do need to add a parser. I mean, still, we're at... we're halfway through the 3.0 cycle.
Yeah.
We don't have a parser. It's kind of ridiculous.
So maybe that's what we're asking. We're not actually asking for the API. We're just asking for a parser. Because you're right. I can't think of anything else that people are actively clamoring for that an API would resolve.
Yeah.
Especially because a first-party parser would probably be a bit more accurate as well, which would be cool.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of traditional MMO techniques that FF14 has never used that you would need something like an API for. Spawn timers, NM pops, claim systems, stuff like that have been traditional to MMOs for a long time and have increased the competitiveness of MMOs for a long time. That just doesn't exist in FF14. We don't have lottery pops. We don't have 10% rare NM spawn chances out of those lottery pops. We don't have really interesting NM systems like what was the thing with the void crystals where you had to heal and figure out how far the NM was away from you. I love those.
What?
What the fuck were those? I can't remember what those
about?
in FF11. You don't remember that? You had I think they were called like Auracite or something.
With Abyssites?
Abyssites.
Or is it an Abyssia? Because
No, it wasn't an Abyssia.
Atmosites. Void Watch and Atmosite.
Yeah, there you go. Void Watch. Yeah.
Oh, Void Watch is kind of a new
Void Watch is awesome.
I never did new stuff.
Yeah, you rest, and it will tell you how far away and in what direction the hidden enemy is.
Oh, I do remember.
And you got to go pop it.
You're triggering me again. Stop.
But we don't have anything like those. We don't have any of those systems in FF14, and all of those systems are things that an API would lend itself well to. When was the last time this spawned? When would that's what all of those developments were for. It's not. This game just does not lend itself to it.
They have those rare gathering spawns that spawn every hour or something. You can have an in-game tracker for those.
Yeah, you can track that on.
I mean, that would be nice, being able to track when the hidden nodes and when even be able to help you remember, because even if you've found it before, when you do it again, it's hidden again, and to help you remember which slot it's in once you found it or something.
Yeah. Also, XP per hour at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot that if Square Enix made some fundamental moves with how the way the game is played, the competitiveness of PvE, those are things that would necessitate an API. I don't think that we need one at the moment. I don't know that we need one.
No, we don't need one, but
look, as long as Square Enix is not banning for ACT and guild work, we don't need an API. I don't think we need one.
I think that was the biggest argument, was the parser and getting the API, but
and now that we have Stone, Sky, and Sea, I mean, we don't really need a parser.
Exactly. But the thing is that you do really want, in terms of a parser, I think you want something that is not necessarily regulated, but that the numbers are accurate and they are accurate among everyone who's running it. Yeah. Because there is way too much of a discrepancy in ACT numbers. They're not always the same between two people. They're close. They're close enough to be okay, that's a rough
split
estimation.
The difference is in there.
Exactly. So I think that would be important, especially for progression ratings. So
I agree, but I think you might make a good point. As long as they're content just to let ACT and guild work and stuff like that handle it, maybe they're saying there's better places we can use our resources until we actually need this.
Totally. Let's go let's rewind the clock so far back that many of our listeners will not even remember this promise. But way back in the annals of 1.0, previous to FF14 even coming out,
back when we were in black and white.
One of the initial promises was that we would have a combined friends list between FF11 and FF14.
Well, they'd also said they were thinking of a portal where you could be on 11, click on a door in your Mog house, and walk out in 14.
Yeah, I think
that'd be so cool.
That'd be amazing.
That's so unreasonable that I don't think that we'll ever see that. But I think
but they did say that at one point.
I do think that it would be cool to have something, where you can send messages between the two games. Yeah,
I have my like. Long.
And it seems really easy to do, too.
I just feel like the fact that you can't add someone on another server first before you add someone between the two games.
Right.
And that when you jump servers, you lose your whole friend list.
Right. Because they had thought of a mechanism for that in FF11 with Play Online.
You use your handle.
And it was fine.
Yeah.
Perfect. There was a lot that was broken about Play Online, but that was not one of them.
We should just integrate Final Fantasy 14 back with Play Online. That'll solve all of our problems.
Or we should just kill Play Online.
That thought is vomit-inducing. Someone just has to be online also to add them as a friend. Like if you have a second character or an alt, you cannot add your own character to send them stuff or send them gil or send them gear.
Stop trying to cheat.
Why do people have to? Well, no, but like even if you're just like if someone hops into Sergeant Tannis and wants to friend one of the LBR hosts and they're not online, which is frequent these days.
Yeah.
Why can you not befriend someone who is offline?
That's
makes no sense.
Also a good question. That's something that they talked about a long time ago. Where I think even a few, there's not even very many people that would get a whole lot out of it. But I think it would be awesome.
I think it'd be a cool flavor thing. And I thought for a long time that eventually down the line they will integrate the stories of 11 and 14 together. Probably after 11's completely dead and gone. But I think they will integrate those stories more in some fashion, more than just like, oh, Shantoto's in our world. That's weird. I think there will be some form of integration there, so then it would be kind of cool. But I don't know.
Hey, it's what's her name? The really submissive black-haired girl. I can't remember her name.
Lion.
No.
Lion has red hair.
Ayame.
Arciela.
The one.
Trish.
White hair.
Which story?
The last one. The final one. The last one.
Iroha.
The one that appears in our world.
Ihora.
No, she's talking about Rhapsody of Vanadil.
Ihora.
Yeah, Iroha.
Yeah, there you go.
Iroha.
Ihora.
Yeah. Stop it.
Iroha.
How's your dyslexia treating you?
Yes.
Ambivalent.
She was in the FF11 crossover event.
Juxta the ambivalent. That's his
That
nickname.
needs to be a title.
Juxtaposition the ambivalent.
All right, let's go back to our phone lines and talk to Melcuria of Sergeant Tannis. What's going on, Melcuria?
Hello?
Hey, what's up?
Melcuria, what do you think about a jumping potion?
No, stop.
All right.
No opinion.
Good call.
Good one.
Melcuria, what do you want to talk about today?
Well, I've been wanting to talk about this for the entire month, but I wanted to talk about the MSQ, and as much as I love the fact that everyone suddenly wants to bang Estinian because of his face reveal, I think it would have been a better narrative approach if he did die.
Oh, yeah. Totally. She definitely should have died.
Oh, my God. He's so smaxy.
He's not nearly as sexy as Amaric. I don't know what you're talking about.
He's way smaxier than Amaric. Thank you very much.
No,
it's a tie.
The Deus Ex Eorzea that happened in that scene is pretty, I don't know, pretty ham-fisted. And I just...
Pretty predictable.
Yeah, it would have been, and I said this on the show with Ethis last week, that it would have been narratively better if he had died in that moment. There would have been a much bigger impact. And the only thing, and the point that I think, I don't remember if Ethis made it or if it was someone in the room, that the only justification for keeping him around would be that he serves some greater narrative purpose later on down the road. I don't see that happening. It seems really silly for me. And to why would you just want to keep them in your back pocket for later?
Oh, but, you know what would be kind of cool though is that you know how like 11 is ending, like way down the road and 14 ends. If they bring back kind of like the main NPC from each expansion pack for one big finale, that would
Rhapsodies of Eorzea. All right.
Oh my god! But like in Rhapsodies though, you see people that have died. Like I'm talking like they're still alive. So like who knows where Minfilia? Maybe Minfilia will just fuck off until we get there.
Show up
and
for
we'll have
Divine Might 2?
Estinian and we'll have all the main NPCs and they'll just come back in the end.
Here's my thinking on that. Like
12 years from now.
Like if you have the end of the Dragon Song War, and you like it's so much better narratively if you have the pillar of the dragon's hatred for man and the pillar of the man's hatred for dragons both dying.
Yeah,
like that is Estinian and that is Nidhogg.
Yeah,
they both should have died to symbolize the end of that war.
That the whole soliloquy that he delivers at the end about like having to internalize the hatred was just unnecessary.
Yes.
It was so, like you didn't need to actually say any of that to connect any of those dots. Like, oh, well, he was so, I could feel the hatred inside me, and his hatred burning deep within me made me learn how my hatred was just exactly the same as his. Oh, good. Hooray. Kumbaya. Hold hands and sit around the goddamn fire now.
They did that.
That soliloquy is much better if it explains like why he was able to be separated from Nidhogg and he's saying it as he dies.
Yeah.
Okay, but you guys, but heroes never die.
Oh my god.
I beg to differ. They do a lot.
You could have even had a moment in there where we save him or we think we save him, and then I don't know, the warriors of goddamn darkness come and shove a spear through his heart. Yeah, I know.
Right through his chest.
Right?
Doesn't ring a bell.
Huh? Who?
Oh my god. Stop.
I mean that would have
head off.
That would have been a pretty narratively good moment. It would have bookended the moment with hearts and farts as well.
No, I don't. If it doesn't think about if that actually happened. Like we pick him up off the ground, like we did it, huzzah! And then he gets stabbed through the back and dies in to a completely different threat. And we're like, this guy can't catch a break. That sucks.
Can't catch a spear, that's for sure.
Oh! There you go. So yeah, no, I definitely see your point, Melcuria. Thanks for the call. We appreciate it.
He's gone off on a pilgrimage, so it would make sense if at some point he comes back.
I think we'll see him. I just hope that it's not in some cheesy bullshit fan service capacity, because that's going to be really disappointing.
We're going to see him the same way you see the Hound. He's going to be hanging out in some village, like helping build windmills and shit.
Well, I don't know if you. Well, I guess you guys did that like victory lap, talk to everybody quest, right? Because you see that he goes and puts flowers for Ysayle. It brought a tear to my eye.
No, guess what? It's the Estinian living. It's just a Final Fantasy IV callback, because he is Cain. He betrays you, and he lives, and now he's dishonored,
and he leaves,
and now he leaves forever.
I mean, you're probably right. It is probably supposed to be a parallel to Cain.
I kind of hate that. I'm gonna say if that's
we're never gonna see Estinian again.
Yoshi,
we won't see him again.
Final Fantasy.
Do you not
games.
see
He
Cain
truly
in the
does.
after
He's
years?
like, I'm just gonna remake them all. No, I don't believe you do see Cain in the after years.
Yes. You've never clearly played After Years, so I'm not going to dignify that with a response.
Well, that's why I was asking.
I thought he was having
do you not see him? Because if you don't, that's probably a clear indication we'll never see Estinian again. But if you do see him in After Years, he'll be back.
You see Gilgamesh and he mistakes you for Bart's.
In 4?
I'm right about that, aren't I?
Oh, what, in 4 in After Years?
Yeah.
No.
That does happen. Yes, it does.
Does it happen?
Yeah, when he runs into Cecil, he's like all right, let's go, Bart's, and Cecil's really confused.
That's right.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay. So
that derailment brought to you courtesy of FF4.
That happened. Thank you, Melcuria, for the call. If you want to call Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. One of the other things that we've been hearing about forever, summoners have been clamoring for the...
You're right, they have been clamoring for Gold Saucer snowboarding.
Eggy Glamours.
Oh, that too.
Eggy Glamours. Still not a thing that we have seen in Eorzea.
Dude, how?
I'm pretty sure they did say this would be coming before 4.0, like for confirmed, right?
Didn't they promise that back in early 2.0 though?
Clock is ticking.
No, they didn't, because in early 2.0 we thought we were getting new Eggies. And then once we learned, no, we're definitely not getting new Eggies, they're like, okay, let us change the way the Eggies look. And they're like, okay.
Yeah, that was
and
around
haven't put it in yet.
3.1.
You suck at everything.
Oh, it was not around 3.1. It was way earlier than
It was
that.
before 3.0.
Yeah, it was.
But
That was in the
it was
2.0
not as early
timeline.
as 2.0. Well,
Or 2.x.
Because I thought
mean,
we're getting
I
new
feel like-
Eggies. I'm sorry.
see, no, you're right. I feel like they still tease us with the fact that we may possibly get new Eggies. Like when they first released, what was the first primal after the first original 3? Was it Leviathan? Was the 4th?
Yes.
I feel like when that came out, like, oh yeah, when are we getting the Leviathan Eggie? And we kept like hoping for it, and then it never came. Like, okay, when are we getting the Ramu and Shiva Eggies? We're not. And so I feel like we kept holding out hope for it. And then once like 2.55 came around, they're like, yeah, you're probably not getting him.
Yeah.
And then in the very first sequence of summoner quests, like the level 50 or 52 summoner quests, as soon as Heaven's Word drops, they're like, let's go get the Ramu Eggie. And you're like, yes. And then they're like, troll.
Lol. No.
So I'm pretty sure that until it was that point where they're like, your body cannot handle the amount of ether that it would require to summon another Eggie, boo boo boo, I feel like we still had hope that we could get more.
You got served.
Listen, we have a lot of things where we'll like do a callback to 11, and you can argue whether or not it's true that 11 did it better. Summons, you can't even argue.
No.
Summons were so great, and like it is one of the like cool. I didn't play Summoner, and it's one of the coolest points of 11.
Absolutely.
I
Summons
played
were
Summoner,
amazing.
I loved it.
Summoner was a badass job, and the fact,
Or just bad.
like,
No, it was badass, and it still is badass.
The thing about Summoner that I thought was so cool was that you had so much footwork that you had to do outside of leveling a normal job. You had all of those avatar fights.
You could try to do the level 20 ones, which were balls hard.
Yeah.
Or you could deal with only having Carbuncle until you could do the group fights.
Right.
Those are your choices.
When you think about FF11, I mean, it really is amazing the way that they locked down certain aspects of that game and said, nah, this is just the way that it's done. Deal with it. And we did. So
We
a
dealt with it.
lot of us still do.
Can I get Yin Yang Orb? Well, yeah, but it spawns on an NM that pops invisible and runs around.
Can you wide scan that thing?
You can wide scan that thing.
Oh, that's easy mode now.
You were always able to wide scan it.
Well, I mean, everyone has wide scan.
Well, everyone does. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. But
Yeah.
well, you wouldn't equip it now anyway.
I mean, I do like one thing about our summons better, and that's the fact that you fight with them 100% of the time. Because 11 summons looked cooler and had cooler moves, but you would just summon them, use your big move, and then unsummon them and rest.
No, you always hung out. You could keep Carbuncle out perpetually.
Yes, but I'm talking about like endgame. Like I would use Summoner for things like Chimera and Tiamat. Like
Sure.
you basically summon Garuda, you'd use her slashing move, and you'd put her away and you'd rest.
Okay,
and
so
I
like a
feel
Final Fantasy IV summon?
kind of, yeah. And so in terms of that, like in summons in most Final Fantasies are actually you summon them, you use them for a short amount of time, and you release them. But I do like that in this game, the job itself revolves around the pet, which is kind of cool. But I don't know.
I wouldn't say the summoner in 14 revolves around a pet. I think it's just having a pet as like, oh, by the way, I forgot that you guys are summoners, so here's a here's an auto-attacking pet.
Each Eggie has its own thing. I mean, the fact that like Garuda extends your dots and it has actual purpose. Like without the summon out, it's pretty useless.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say useless, but it's a lot more potent. Like the damage the summoner can do.
I just feel like it's not that different from just having a buff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of just like having your auto turret or whatever out, you know.
Yeah, you're having the Garuda summon out. You could just have the thing that extends your dots as a cooldown on you.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's also attacking. I mean, it feels more like
your
a summoner
Titan-
when you summon a creature and you fight with it.
Your Titan one, I guess you have a point for that, but nobody uses Titan except for solo.
But I mean, like, that's why I've said there's no pet job in this game because nothing actually plays like a pet job.
Yeah, that's true.
And I don't think there ever will be anything. Like, I think it would just too drastically change how you'd play that role.
Yeah,
and
Not
they're all about
necessar-
keeping
I mean,
things homogenized.
They could make one where literally every single ability you have actually makes your pet do an ability.
They could, but they won't.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Because essentially it wouldn't change the way that the jobs work at all. You would just be like a Beastmaster that had a pet, and every single ability you would use, your beast would use it instead of you, and you just kind of stood there.
You would
and did
you would
nothing.
be auto-attacking instead.
Dude, the lag that would come from that, like, you hit your ability, you do a thing, and then your pet does a thing. It would just be...
No, you wouldn't.
No, you wouldn't do anything.
You wouldn't do
Your
anything.
pet would only do
You would
things.
just kind of raise your hand.
You would just...
What would the controls
Or
be
you
like
would
trying to
shout-
get your
you
pet
would
to
shout
dodge, get out of the shit?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's true.
That'd be a mess.
Maybe you just control the pet.
Yeah, you stand in the back corner.
You put your character where you would put the auto turret, and then you would switch to the pet, and you get to toggle between the
Man,
two.
this does sound like FF11's Beastmaster. Never mind.
Yeah.
No, they probably wouldn't do that, though.
Yeah,
There will never be a true pet job in 14. It's never going to happen.
When they came out with those the primal minions, summoners lost their shit because they look so much better than the Aggies.
Well, yeah.
I don't blame them. I think they were right to lose their shit.
So cute.
And I think that those minions should be glamour options for
the Aggies.
For the Aggies. Yeah, I do.
No, I don't think they should have that.
But if you think about it lore-wise, the Aggies are what, like the spirit of them? They're supposed to be like their inner tiny little soul or something. Like, it wouldn't make sense technically to have the actual summon.
You're right. We all did get another Eggy. We got Midgard Stormer. He hangs out with us. He's a cool dude.
Technically, I suppose.
I don't know if he's an Eggy, but all right.
He's a mini version of himself. He's not an Eggy because he's not glowing.
That's right.
They all have to glow. That's the rule.
Well, because Aggies are like little soul crystals of the original Primal. So it wouldn't make sense to have big giant summons because the way Primals work in this lore.
Don't you shame him based on his appearance.
Just talking about lore in general in this game, it makes sense for them to look the way that they do, but we don't have to like it.
So basically,
And nobody does.
And we don't. We're not happy about it.
Yeah, no, I don't think anyone...
But it makes sense. No one can argue that it doesn't make sense.
No, but it still sucks. Let's go back to our phone lines and talk to Crimson Tinted of Balmung. What's going on, Crimson? Thanks for calling Limit Break Radio.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. Just wanted to go pan back a little bit to Deep Dungeons, if I may.
Yeah.
I've have a great deal of concern with regards to just how much of the Deep Dungeon system we're getting up front.
Okay.
I'm concerned that this feels a lot like the hype leading up to Diadem. It really does, where we had this new system that was coming out that may have had some open-ended exploration aspects that we could dig a lot of time into and get rewards out of. And that flopped hard to the ground, right?
Yeah.
I fear that's going to be the case potentially here, especially with the relatively low number of levels released up front, that like 50 level situation that we're getting up front. I feel like people are going to tear through it very quickly because they're so thirsty for content at this point that it's going to become a forgotten footnote unless they either tune the difficulty of those 50 levels to take a significant amount of time.
Sure.
Or they're very quick about releasing the additional levels as to hook the endgame raiders who are kind of already done with this tier, you know?
They
That's my
also
fear.
said that there was a point to going back and doing them again to continue training your weapon. So I don't think once you hit 50, you're done. You just go and restart from 1 again.
And also with Diadem, like, we knew so little about Diadem that our, like, what we thought it might be just ran wild. With this, we have at least an idea of what the event we're getting is.
And we're also going to get real story with this, it seems like, because we keep seeing these little hints of Edda and like that cool new outfit it looks like she's wearing from the last like screenshots we saw. And I feel like the Diadem had literally nothing to do with anything.
Yeah, but I think Crimson actually kind of brings up a good point that with how little content there is, I could see people just absolutely chewing through the 50 levels super quickly because we do know that it's not a terribly challenging system. And if they know that it's easy to grind out, if they know how easy the points are to get, it'll just turn into the Anima where I'm totally not working on that at all. I'm just kind of like, when it happens, it happens. And I think that that's a really bad approach to have to, content like this. Like, that's not the attitude you want your players walking away from your event with. You want your players walking away going, okay, well, that was fun, and I didn't get the thing that I needed. I got close. Like, how am I gonna get it tomorrow? Because the carrot on the end of the stick. If everyone within 3 days has one of those shiny weapons, what's the fucking point?
Well, I could have sworn that the way that they worded it made it sound like that you would get to floor 200 and not necessarily have the shiny weapon trained enough to take out, and you'd have to keep leveling it.
I don't know. I mean, that's a very vague statement.
It made it sound like you had to train it, and so it was worth going back to train your weapon.
Well, of course, but the thing is most people are just going to want it for the glamour. They're not going to want it for the stats. It doesn't necessarily outclass any of the weapons that we have. Most people are just good sitting with lore weapons. And the thing is like, they're not wrong. The people who sit around with only lore gear that just get their tomes every week, like, dude, they're not wrong. There's no compelling reason to want to push your eye level, your stats. I mean, the only reason to do it is just to do more rating, and that's not a very good, like, that's not even a good self-serving reason to grind out gear.
Maybe I misunderstood. I thought you had to fully train it to take it out. I thought that was...
You do.
Yeah.
They said that you can't take it. The reward of doing all this is that you get to take it out when you're all finished. You don't just get to take it out from day one.
Well, but if we're getting to floor 50 in
it's not going to be at floor 50. It's going to be like 200.
No.
Oh, definitely.
No, I don't think that's...
Because floor 50 is not even the end of the story. They said until floor 100 we're going to get stories, so it's going to at least go that far.
Yeah, but if you mean to tell me that you don't think we're going to be able to take those shiny weapons out at this patch?
I don't think so.
I think we will. I think we will.
I don't think so.
You'll have to make the trip to 50.
Because they made it sound like you had to train it up a lot to be able to take it out, and I feel like you probably can't do that from one.
Wait! Why would they do that? And then, because like if the eye level system is going to progress in patches, then the gear and the level progression that comes out of this system is going to have to keep going as well. They're either going to have to keep updating what comes out of this in the same way that they kind of keep updating the animal weapon, and then that introduces the question, well, does it change graphically? Because then you only have to get through so much to take it out for a piece of glamour.
Well, what I just figured is that we were going to get, because only through 100 even has story, and then after that it's just going to be a challenge. I feel like we're going to get those by like 3.4 or 3.45.
I don't think that's...
And then...
Where are you getting that? Like, that's headcanon.
Maybe, but I feel like, well, with the fact, because I'm just thinking, I mean, I guess they've never officially confirmed, but the fact that the system is called Deep Dungeon, and that this is called Palace of the Dead, that the fact there's going to be more deep dungeons that are not called Palace of the Dead that start from floor 1. So as our eye level increases, we'll get a new deep dungeon that starts with those levels, or like maybe when 4.0 comes out and our level might go up to 70, it's going to be a new deep dungeon.
If it follows that logic, Nika, then there is literally no point to doing deep dungeon in 3.35 because there's no reward that you can take out. I think that why would they introduce a system that has no reward and has a reward 3 months from now?
I mean, I think it's going to be different. Maybe there's a smaller version of it now, and we'll get, like, maybe you can get, because they did say that the stats are relevant now, so maybe you can take the basic stat relevant one out now, but the glowy one doesn't come till later or something.
I just figured you'd have to get 1 to 50, but you'd have to make that trip a couple times before you were to earn enough points or training on it or whatever it is to take it out. Yeah. I don't think getting 1 to 50 will be enough to take it out, but I think you'd have to continue doing the event more.
Yeah, you're gonna have to. Yoshi P said that floors 1 through 50 should take roughly 3 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
And so you're gonna do this like, I don't know, 80 times to get your glowy weapon out, and then when floors 50 through 100 come out, then your glowy weapon will have, like, I don't know, more sparklies that come out on top of it.
It's like, how do you make it glowy and more glowy? It's already glowy.
How do you make it more glowy? Nika, come
It's already super glowy. It's like the glowiest weapon we've ever seen.
Think about, like, when your anima hit I-200, now it's got, like, the cool little, like, things that, like, circle around it and shit. Like,
it could always be more glowy, Nika.
I suppose.
And that's sort of what I'm getting at, is that, like, are they going to have to upgrade the graphical representation every time, too? 2. I mean,
give us
that
different colors.
Yeah, that seems like a lot, though. That seems like a lot of development work.
No, it's
I just figured it would at least go through floor 100, which is where the story stops, because 100 to 200 they said would just be a challenge. But I don't know.
Yeah, but they're not gonna lock that.
You don't think we're gonna get 50 to 100? Because if we're getting this 3.35, you don't think we're gonna get 50 to 100 and 3.4?
No, I think 3.5.
I think we will.
3.45.
Yeah.
Really?
I think I would guess 3.45 would make sense. This might be the off patch thing that comes out.
It might be. I mean, because before the off patch thing was the feast, and what was it before then? The stupid game. What was that? Verminion? Was that the off patch?
3.15, yep.
Yeah.
I'm thinking this might be the new off patch.
Maybe. I mean, yeah, if they're willing to support it every single
Diadem was also 3.15.
Oh, was it?
Right?
Okay.
I think.
I can't
remember if it was 3.1 at one point.
Can't remember. But yeah,
I can't care.
Anyway, Crimson, thanks for the call. We appreciate it. Again, if you want to call Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715. Also available on Discord, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. We want to talk to you, want to hear from you about anything that's going on in FF14. Currently talking about features that have been talked about in interviews, have been hinted at, but yet we've still never seen. One of the big ones that we've heard a lot more about recently.
Yeah, you know what? I feel like I have been stuck in this glass ceiling within my free company because I'm a female character. Suddenly I just can't get promoted anymore. Idiot. I don't know. I don't like it.
So we have not seen Grand Company ranks since 2.0 came out.
I think there's the same one since 1.0.
I think
they have confirmed these are coming in either 3.5 or 4.0. They have confirmed that.
Or 4.0. Jesus, 2 expansions later.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we are getting these. But actually, what?
Well, I was going to say, along with it, we're supposedly getting some kind of system where we can
have NPCs.
Yeah, summon
platoons or something.
Platoons. That's it.
Platoons,
Wow.
That's right.
Yeah.
What the heck? No, see, what I want is, going back to the 1.0 again, they discussed how that the Grand Companies would play a bigger role and that a Grand Company would be able to take control of a Primal, and that each Grand Company would be able to summon a Primal, and when you summoned a Primal...
Free-roaming Primals!
Yep.
That was a thing!
Yep. And they said that you'd be able to take control of the Primal, and that when someone summoned a Primal, you would know because the entire sky would change and the zone would change, and you would know that somebody had a Primal right now.
Well, and the thing is I think that Odin, the original Odin Fate, was a sort of proof of concept for that whole idea.
I feel like SE used to make promises drunk. They used to get really drunk and do that, like kind of like we're hanging, hey, we're gonna buy a bar next week. They kind of had the same approach to dropping information.
Well, but I mean, you can actually see the underpinnings of that system with the Odin Fate.
Sure.
The environment changes, to a specific weather type when it pops. You need damn near the entire server to come down on it to be able to win. If you're trying to take it on as even, 4 or 5 parties, you're really going to get your shit wrecked. And if they had attached some sort of not necessarily claim system, but your free company does the most damage, or the way that they do point attribution on hunts, and you continually build points for your free company or your Grand Company or whatever to be able to summon primals for yourself. That would have been a really cool system, I think.
You should be able to have your Grand Company summon. Looks like if the Flames summon Ifrit, and then it's like a super hard Odin type Ifrit, and then the Grand Company Flames, they don't want to fight it, so now you have to fight it with 2/3 of the server instead.
Well, but that's the thing, is that the only server events that we've ever had in FF14 have basically been the Odin and Behemoth fights.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And it's all, yeah, but what was I gonna say? That it sounds cool in concept, but when you realize what primals are in this game and how much dialogue-wise we're you must never summon primals, they are horrible and they will kill everyone. How contradictory would it be now if all of a sudden we're we're gonna summon
Yeah,
them?
but Heidelin's gone. It's broken. It's shattered into a million pieces. Heidelin is gone.
We have to find new gods now.
Who... but who I mean, I think that's actually an interesting narrative question that maybe we overlooked with Ethis last week. Is now with Heidelin gone, where's the energy being drawn from to be able to continue to summon primals? You know, if every time a primal is summoned, it weakens Hydaelyn, well, what happens when Hydaelyn shatters?
Well, that's why we're not seeing primals anymore, I guess. Because we're
That's
just
the
seeing
lore reason why there's no ultra mode primals.
Well, does that mean that the beast tribes who were continuously summoning primals over and over again can no longer summon primals? What does it exactly mean?
Did we solve the primal threat? We just had to sacrifice Symphilia.
We didn't solve it. Hydaelyn just died.
Hey, we were there. It counts.
You know what? I'm going to chalk that up for that's a win in the Warrior
I don't know. We
Lights.
decided the Dragon Song War was more important than discovering how to fix God. So we kind of have been ignoring Hydaelyn for the last 2 patches.
Well, like
we don't have any leads, okay? We can only do what Alphino tells us to do.
I mean, I really don't know the answer to that question. So
I would love if lore-wise, the next time we pick up with like MSQ, it's like there's no NPC that just kind of starts it. You just suddenly get it flagged. And you're like, your characters decide you're going to go investigate because no one's talking to you. You're like, all right, sweet. You just go off on your own, do some shit by yourself.
So
And then we find Estinian wandering around.
No,
get
out. We don't. We go and be badasses by ourselves for once.
You know what would be cool is if he was an Easter egg like Edda's ghost was, and that occasionally you can just see him walking in the distance, but you can never actually get to him. How fucking cool would that be?
Does anyone else think Edda's Deep Dungeon sounds like a porno?
Oh my god.
Brazzers.
I would like that idea, Nika. We just see like Estinian like walking and he's at a cliff and he just walks off the cliff.
Shut up.
He is a dragoon.
And Imert tries to catch him.
No,
and they both die.
Oh, okay, sure.
He would just walk off. Let's go back to our phone.
He would backflip off. Thank you.
Let's go back to our phone lines. Again, if you want to call the show, Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. If you're liking the show, hit that follow button. Join us each and every single Sunday when we do the show, starting at 1 p.m., just like Phoenix Games 87 and Valcombird did. Shout out to you guys. Thank you guys so much for hitting that follow button. Let's talk to Orpheus Jr. Orpheus Jr., that's how I know him, but Orpheus Hiddenir of Hyperion. What's going on, Orpheus?
Hey, how's everybody going? How's everybody doing?
Good. Thanks for calling the show. So, what do you want to talk about today?
I actually had a bit of content speculation. Specifically, I think I have an idea on when our 15 crossover event is going to happen.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
Man, we're waiting with bated breath.
I mean, I assume it would come out in September along with the game, right?
Yes, but specifically, I'm pretty sure it's going to be our Moonlight Fair this year.
Now, what makes you think that?
Well, I was going through my inventory, and I came across my old Moonlight Fair tokens. And I noticed they've been renamed to Fair Token XV.
Ooh.
Now,
wait, seriously?
Yes, they've been renamed. Like, you can go look up on, 14 database, and they've all been renamed to Fair Token XV.
Ah.
Now, normally this I could just chalk it up to okay, they probably just renamed it to last year's token. We're probably getting something different, but no, all tokens now redirect to Token XV.
Yeah, that's interesting because they could have just added an entirely new item, but instead, changing the names of existing items to reflect that. That's interesting. That may have also been an accident. Like they may not have meant to include that little piece of data with the
stocked up on them from
update
last
push.
year. You have an advantage for this year. That would be kind of stupid and not fair.
Oh, come on. It's a
mid-side event. Who
yeah,
cares?
Grind
for an hour.
Seriously. God.
It's
not fair, Nika.
I'm looking forward to that NPC where they're just like, hey, have you heard about that car driving around in the jungle? No?
There was one other thing.
Okay.
The time frame, it fits. Because typically our Moonlight Fair happens mid-August, mid-September. They could easily just bump it up an extra 2 weeks, and then boom, we have a month long like we did for Lightning Returns.
Yeah.
So time frame fits perfectly.
Yep, you're right. Definitely right.
Hope there's a stupid hairstyle.
Well, there you go, guys.
Count on it.
Possible hint as to when the FF15 crossover event
Or it could be as EDS X-Wing is saying, is that it's from 2015, so they've renamed it to Fair Tokens 15.
Maybe, but that's not a bad piece of speculation, Orpheus, because it really does fit the time frame, and it's interesting. Good catch, Orpheus.
So is the car going to be a mount or a minion?
Oh God,
both.
I hope.
I want a car mount. Oh my God.
No. Boo.
That way we can all reenact the scene from FF8
Can you
where
imagine
Squall
me just
drives.
like riding around in a convertible, like you see me
Or
rolling?
it's off in the distance. You can never catch it.
Orpheus, thank you for the call. We appreciate it. If you would like to call the show, Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord.
My new headcanon is that Nika just hangs out in Idleshire singing Riding Dirty.
Yes.
I want a motorcycle mount.
So
The one that Cloud has.
in the long list of retarded things that they could put in this game, there's one that we've heard about that has not come to fruition, thank God, so far. And that's Gold Saucer Snowboarding. The incredibly popular event from Final Fantasy VII
I want this.
has been hinted to make a return to FF14's Gold Saucer. To go along with that, one of the things that we've actually heard mention of from the development side is Blitzball. Yep.
Oh, I would be okay with that.
So now, but here's my question to you: what would you rather see? Would you rather see snowboarding? Would you rather see Blitzball?
I feel like
I'd way rather see Blitzball.
How hard would it be to put in the snowboarding, though? I feel like it could just be like 5 courses where you just go down and grab items. I just don't think it would be that hard to implement because it's a solo game.
You're
it doesn't
right.
require any other people. It doesn't require any crossover server or anything.
Blitzball would be a Lords of Verminion level of development time.
You're right.
And snowboarding would be just kind of a tack on.
Yeah.
That said, I still would rather Blitzball.
And I think when 4.0 hits, we need an entire expansion wing to the Gold Saucer with like 5 new games. Like it needs to be expanded upon.
Does anyone even go to the Gold Saucer outside of the tickets?
The where?
I see people there, but I don't know.
Just scratchers.
I can't imagine who's like really excited for Gold Saucer content at this point.
I mean, if they add snowboarding and Blitzball, though, I'd be stoked.
I mean,
I think Blitzball would draw interest.
I mean, at this point, who's even doing Triad anymore? I don't even see hardly anyone doing Triad or even farming for cards.
Me and Serena just spent some time doing unsynced dungeons trying to get some cards. Like yesterday.
But to answer your question, not many people.
Me, I'm
but
a person.
That's like Blitzball, right?
Nobody important.
That would draw a lot of people, right?
I think Blitzball would be, and depending on how fun it is as a game, could draw people in far more than Lords of Verminion, because Lords of Verminion, I mean, nobody knew what to do with that. It didn't have a basis in any of the other Final Fantasy games, and I'm not someone who's like, oh, you should absolutely do all the throwbacks. Like I'm not. The nostalgia thing does not ride for me like it does for other people. But if you're gonna introduce a game as complex and as time-consuming as Lords of Verminion seem to be, like you've got it. Like that should be something that has a little bit of context. Blitzball provides that context,
right?
Yeah, that would have been a lot more fun.
I'm not big on nostalgia either, but if you're going to have nostalgia, the Gold Saucer's the place for it.
Yeah, like we definitely don't need like the one where Cloud rides the motorcycle and attacks people. Like we don't need that.
Right. I mean,
but I feel like snowboarding and Blitzball are a good balance.
Okay, well hold on. Where does Blitzball fit in the world of Final Fantasy XIV?
Why not? It's a sport.
Blitzball? The game where you're in a giant sphere of water swinging around, throwing a ball around? Well, that fits in the game? No. This is what we need. We need another card game that is based off of a tower defense game.
Oh my God, no!
I mean, they could
he wants FF14 Hearthstone. That's what he's asking for.
No, a tower defense game.
Shut up.
You use the cards to be the towers to attack the minions that come by.
There was a tower defense in FF7 too.
They could introduce this in the next expansion because we don't know what they do over there right now. I mean, they could do that.
Yeah, when we finally get to Garlemald, they have Blitzball stadiums.
I could totally see that being.
Garlemald probably does have Blitzball stadiums.
They don't have magic, so they've got an abundance of technology. So
I mean, this would be a badass PvP thing. I mean, you could have your own teams and shit.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Hungry Chocobos.
Get out!
Garlemald hates fun, therefore Blitzball does not exist in Garlemald.
Well, no, it's just
fun.
No, it's just the stakes are different. The loser dies.
Maybe it's an Alamegan sport.
They've got like
Alamegans
one
have
ruined
zero
building
technology.
and a desert.
No, they don't now because Garlemald occupies them.
They brought Blitzball with them.
Yeah, there you go.
That's canon.
I hate you guys.
Wow, we are making him mad with our stupidity. This is so satisfying.
Oh,
this is how you feel every week, isn't it?
Yeah, must be.
Isn't it fun?
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Garlemald has car mounts too. Yes.
Of course they do.
God.
No, dude, they were saying good things. Like, okay, there's speculation that the car mount would be able to carry 4 people, and it would have an orchestrion inside of it, so you can change the music while you're going.
And you get the Stand By Me orchestrion.
Yeah, like a car
roll.
radio,
No,
and you can
oh
put
my
on
God.
whatever orchestrion music you've collected. You can put on your car radio.
Get the fuck out of here!
Oh, come on, it was so easy. Mounts have different music as it is. It would be such a cool idea.
That has $30 in the cash shop written all over it.
Absolutely, and I would pay for it.
literally. Okay, first of all, you introduce that mount. You got to figure out how to make it. Oh well, the car does fly. Never mind. So,
and it can be a boat, and it can be everything. This is perfect.
Oh God,
it'd be awesome if you could run it right into a tree and eject everybody right out of it. You know.
But and that was actually going to be my follow up. Is I feel like the multi-person mounts we have now, nobody uses them because they're not practical. Why would anyone use a 4-person mount for any reason at any time?
Are you kidding me?
I know CERN and I use the 2-person one because one of us always wants to be lazy.
Yeah, whenever I'm in a party with Kooky, I make her take me everywhere. I will not move unless I'm on Kookie's
We are getting the auto follow equivalent finally.
Oh my God.
Target lock auto run. Anybody?
Yeah, that's what I always do. Target lock on someone, auto run, auto follows. But
you actually do that? You lazy. God.
Not with flying. It's a lot harder to do that. But on the ground, I used to auto follow CERN everywhere. Absolutely.
Okay, it was one thing to do that in 11, where it would literally take 20 minutes to walk across a zone. Not in 14. That's not acceptable. Come on.
No, I do. I
mean, I guess when hunts were a thing, I used to do that every once in a while. But yeah, not for long. So we talked about Lords of Verminion, but we were also sort of promised some kind of monster battling arena. I hope that's not what Lords of Verminion actually was. Like, I hope that's.
You don't want Pancration.
Like, well, no, not.
Pancration was cool.
I mean, Pancration wasn't terrible.
Pancration.
But I just hope that Square Enix didn't put out Lords of Verminion and go, well, let's check that one off the list. Like,
boom, got it.
Yeah, we are done.
No, monster battling arena. I want Pokemon.
Okay.
We got Pokemon Go for that.
You can't battle them though.
You can battle in gyms.
I don't have
no,
Marlboros.
You can't.
I need Marlboros and Aramons. Traditional Final Fantasy creatures, Nico. It's not the same.
Got to capture them, battle them.
And I need to get Isotombs from these.
Everything has to give Isotombs, and it has to play MP3s.
I like how these tombstones are like these super rare artifacts of knowledge and stuff, and they're just everywhere.
Oh yeah, World's just shitting them out for you. Yeah, I mean, I really don't think that. And is anyone even really want this? I mean, nobody wanted Lords of Verminion. I feel like if they put it in, people would. It would just be it would just be like, why?
No, I got it. They should have this monster battling arena, but change it, okay? Monster online battling arena, and then we can finally have MOBAs in our Final Fantasy XIV.
Oh my God!
We've had our first
ever rubber band at your face.
We've just had our first ever assault in studio. 72 episodes in.
That's pretty good.
We went a long time.
They could make it into the Coliseum like they already have over in Ul'dah, and just have a random. That way you don't know who's going to show up. Say you go in there and Ultra shows up one time. Your next fight, maybe a Frit or Shiva X.
Well,
why is Shiva X in there?
No, I'm just throwing out names.
People are going to be very concerned.
And Nero, correct me if I'm wrong, but back in 1.0, didn't they say we'd eventually get that Coliseum as a playable thing?
Yeah.
I could have sworn that they did.
Yeah, they call it the Wolves Den now.
Yeah, that was
But that's in Limsa.
Yeah, I know.
This is in Ul'dah. This is supposed to be a fighting gladiator. I don't know.
You have to be able to bet as well.
I mean, it serves a narrative purpose. We've seen battles that
Yeah, and
happened.
it's the Gladiators Guild.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is kind of weird because that's where, I don't know, the paladins stem from there, which seems very strange to come from a brutal battling arena.
Come from protecting the Sultana, Nico.
I know.
Gladiators
but I guess you have to brutally beat each other to the death to train to protect the Sultana.
Get your lore right, god damn it. Again, if you want to call Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord if you'd like to call in on Discord. I just don't see a point to some kind of monster battling arena. The last one that at least I was able to come up with, we've heard, and this is sort of, going all the way back to the API, sort of connected to that, but we've been hearing talks of a mobile app for FF14 for a long time, and even one that has connectivity to Triple Triad.
Well, what we ended up getting was the Final Fantasy Portal, which is essentially a mobile app for anything to do with anything Final Fantasy, where you get news and information, and they have its own Triple Triad minigame, which is actually pretty fun, and I enjoyed it for...
But it's not connected to
It is not. No, it is not connected to 15. So I'm not sure if they just kind of gave up on that after the FF Portal came out, or if they were still planning. I have no idea.
I mean, I really do think that a mobile aspect to this game would be good. I think that there's smart ways that that you could do something like that, especially making it connected to something like Triple Triad, where a lot of people have fallen off on the interest of Triple Triad. But if you had something to track your progress or be able to play on your phone, I think that would a lot more people would be interested in something like that again, and you might see people farming cards again. So that might be something that we could see in the future. Who knows? With Pokemon Go's success, the financial success, I think that we're going to see a lot of AAA developers that will try to mimic that success with their own
Mobius
brand.
FF is coming out this in August, right?
Right. Yeah.
Final Fantasy Go.
Everyone should just have to name it their title, their IP with Go after the end. Just like we know that you're just like shamelessly trying to spin this off.
Right.
Admit to it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, I mean, like how everybody puts a little I in front of it now to just mean technology when really that was an Apple thing.
Yeah. Yep. That's true.
Everything's an I something.
That's true.
Yoshi has said this is almost ready. I mean, you can talk to people, I believe, in game from the app. You can also do stuff with your retainers.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
What? Really? My lolly tossing mini
Well, wasn't this something that he had talked about?
I would spend 1K MGP to just toss a lala into a pot of stew.
Nice, Zero.
Wasn't this something that he talked about?
That's not a bad idea. Like sort of like midget tossing, lala tossing. I like it. It's good. It's good.
Like Wolves of Wall Street.
At PAX East, wasn't this something that they talked about that?
I feel like
there was a live. Like, now that Len mentioned that, like. There's some kind of there's some kind of I don't know. I just feel like there was. It's like hitting my memory now. Like he actually mentioned this in a recent live letter, and I can't remember the details.
Yeah. I mean, I do want to say that there was mention that the app is coming. Mm-hmm. And that there should be some kind of app, and I think that that's great. The having some kind of mobile end to this game is awesome. Just because I'm so surprised by how engaged I am right now by a mobile phone game.
Right.
I think
that's because it requires you to walk around. Well, I don't think a mobile Final Fantasy would require leaving the house.
I don't know. We'll see. I think that there are things that. Other gaming companies can learn from Pokemon Go's success.
How cool would it be?
Oh God!
If you have Final Fantasy
He's excited.
Go,
Great. Here we go.
And it's like got the map and stuff, and you walk around, and then you see like a little like a shadow silhouette thing, and you click on that, and then it brings up like the little battle screen, and it's like Cecil or
then Sephiroth just appears in your town. You're like, guys, Sephiroth just appeared the next town over. Everyone has to go to the next town over and fight Sephiroth. Go.
And then you get them to your party. Why did you mute me?
Because that definitely needed to happen.
That was so good.
No, it's really not. Really not. I want to be clear. I want to be clear. I am not encouraging this behavior. Okay?
You just wait. 2018, Final Fantasy Go will be a thing.
The sad part is he's probably not wrong.
Yeah, probably.
Mark my words.
Anyway, that I think
Final Fantasy 14 hunts Go.
There you go.
Hunt in the real world.
How terrible would that be? Ugh.
Yeah, and if you pull the
If I could find Dark Helmet in the real world, that would be so
dude. Actually, that'd be great because then if you pull early, when the rest of them get there, they can actually beat you up over it. That'd be outstanding.
Oh my God.
Gohan.
Yeah. So I think that pretty much wraps it up for our discussion about things that we've heard about, but
broken promises.
Yeah, haven't seen yet in the game. If you can think of one that we overlooked, Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. Let's go back to our phone lines. We're going to talk to Zero Ashanzari from Midgar Somer. What's going on, Zero?
Not much. Enjoying the day off.
Right on.
I do have one curious question, though, is why Square Enix doesn't take the missteps and the knowledge and wealth of information from other MMOs like World of Warcraft and Guild Wars.
I think it tries to. But I think it in some ways it adheres a little bit too closely to the dogma of those games because, the idea of a jumping potion, I understand where that comes from. Like, on a fundamental level, I understand what the need that they're trying to serve there is. And I feel like every decision that you could kind of pick at them for is also a decision that they've made to solve or address a specific problem that either exists in FF14 or has existed in other MMOs. And I don't think that that's a bad thing, but I think that they've done it a little bit too much to where now we've gotten away from things like claim systems, like lottery spawns, that were sort of a staple of the MMO genre, and yet have no representation here within Final Fantasy XIV. And the thing is that if you implement something like that, a system like that, there has to be meaning and value behind the rewards that come out of it. So, Square Enix has two things that they have to do, in my mind, is they need to vary the amount of events that they have being pushed out to players, and I think that they're working on that with things like Diadem, and we've now heard that they're going to be readjusting Diadem, so I think that is something that is very promising, but also Deep Dungeon as well. So if they're trying to, basically, I feel like they're trying to satisfy both the first generation of MMO players, and now, the second, third generation, the post-WoW generation of MMO players, and they're doing an okay job. But at some point, they're going to need to firmly choose one way or the other. Right? They've either got to choose, okay, well, we're going to make this game as consumable for as many people as possible. We're going to take it down to
the lowest common denominator.
Even on cue, right there. Wow, that was awesome. But yeah, you can either take it down to and cater to the lowest common denominator, or you can choose to have your content favor your existing community. And the thing is that when you do that, it does leave the early levels of the game a little bit in the lurch. You do have to put in a little bit of time and effort to be able to get the most out of the content that sits at the end of the game. That was a dichotomy that existed in FF11 that they never really fixed. At least, I mean, they put Band-Aids on it, but they never really fixed it. FF14 seems to be designed to avoid many of those problems, and at the same time try to curb a lot of problems that have existed in other MMOs. And again, they're gonna have to end up making a choice. Do we cater to the casuals, or do we cater to who's been playing this game for a long time? And I think that the answer is clear, that it needs to be the people who are already paying and playing the game.
You talk about like how 11 had a much more difficult climb to 75 to its level cap. I think that's just a fundamental theme of that game, where this current game focuses on the Warrior of Light, whereas FF11 focuses on adventurers as a whole.
Maybe, but at the same time, Final Fantasy is not Dark Souls. It is not a game series that is known for its steep challenges or its difficulty.
Sure.
Or even, maybe the amount of hours that you were plugging into it to get through something like the sphere grid system, or to max out all your materia, to get, level 99. That sort of stuff, yeah, sure. Final Fantasy has always kind of been known for that. But FF11 really ramped up the difficulty in terms of a Final Fantasy game, but it pretty much rode the middle in terms of an MMO for that era. Because of the way that they had to design the game, because of technical limitations, it had to stay in that, in the pattern that it had set for itself.
Right.
And I think that if, Square Enix could... I think Square Enix doesn't want that same pattern to get put onto FF14, but it's worked its way into its own pattern. And there are ways to break it. There are absolutely ways to break it. It's just up to Square Enix whether or not they want to encourage competition in their community, like PvE competition, whether Square Enix wants to encourage that type of PvE play, and how they're going to introduce it in terms of, how we interact with this sorts of stuff.
That'd be a nice thing for them to actually tell us at some point. Because we can always we can pull our thoughts on what they're trying to encourage based on the events that they put out.
Sure.
But it would be very nice if at FanFest at some point they're like, hey, what are kind of your overarching goals for this game?
Yeah.
Where are you, what are you trying to beef up on, and what are you trying to move away from? I'd be very interested to hear their answer to that, and I don't think they would give it to you.
That's fair. Zero, thanks for the call. We appreciate it. What were we saying?
Well, the one thing that has always bugged me about Final Fantasy XIV is you go back to the Fumatsu article that was several months ago about AS3, the public testing realm. Even with World of Warcraft having a public testing realm, when people go in to do the 25-man or the 40-man raids, just because you've seen the fight doesn't mean you know the fight.
Sure.
Why it's stuff like that I see, especially with the public testing realm for mechanics and balancing issues, because how often do we see a balance change happen?
Yeah. It's not very often. Square Enix has pretty much tuned the game how they want it tuned. They want every fight to, be able to be completed with exactly the party makeup that they have dictated. Well, one or two tanks, a bunch of DPS and two healers.
I feel like we see balance changes often enough, though, or mechanics changes when it turns out that they're too hard or too dumb. Even for A6, they changed the amount of mines that spawn 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever after the thing came out.
No, but I think what Zero is saying, a fundamental change in the way that mechanics operate, and having that impact not just one fight, but a lot more than just that one fight. And I it may not be wrong. I don't know that this game is necessarily set up for a lot of the first gen MMO ideas. A lot of the things that made that PvE environment so competitive or even so engaging. I don't know that you can do that systemically with FF14. I think there might be systemic problems that come along with that. So, Zero, thanks for the call. We appreciate it. If you want to call the show, Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. If you'd like to call in on Discord, I want to thank all of our callers here today. We've had a lot of callers. This is exciting.
Number 5, yeah.
Yeah. So thank you guys for all your calls. We'll still be taking more. We've got some emails to read here, but we did a bit not too long ago. And it was pretty popular. We kind of did one a little bit last week.
Yep.
Where we read an official forum post, but it was only me who really got to get in on the official forum's dramatic shitpost reading. So I kind of wanted it to open up the floor to you guys, and we've got a collection of pretty epic official forum shitposts.
Oh man, they're so great.
Some of them aren't even shitposts; they're just dumb.
So
like, how do these people think these things?
I'd like you guys to read some of your favorites, if you would.
All right.
For the official forum dramatic shitpost readings.
Oh my god! Like, how do you pick a favorite out of this?
I don't know if it's my favorite, but this is one I like.
Okay, go ahead. You can start us off.
Do I want to say who it's from?
Sure, why not?
This is from Damien Fattel, and his topic is maintenance before reset? Really? I was at a convention all week, and I had no time to get my lore. I was prepared to do it from about 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., but apparently there's a scheduled minutes before reset. Not only is this irresponsible and a slap in the face to paying customers, but now I'm behind. Please send me my needed lore tomes, or I'll be considering leaving. What? This is unacceptable when I'm paying $15 a month.
What?
Oh.
Okay, I was in Japan for 2 weeks. Where's my 2 weeks of lore?
Yeah.
Like, you just know when you go on vacation or you go to a convention, you sacrifice some things, one of those being a video game that you're playing.
Okay, no, but he had a plan, okay? From those 4 hours, he was going to get all of his lore tomes.
All of them.
And now
all
he
of
can't.
them.
Now he can't.
His plans have been ruined.
I love the righteous indignation posts. Like, I pay my money for this game. This is unacceptable.
Unacceptable.
That fucking word, unacceptable. Oh.
Yeah, people seem to know, like, they have the total authority over what's acceptable and not acceptable.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, they're paying. They have a stake in the company.
That's right. I'm going to take my $12 elsewhere.
A literal
You're right.
stake.
I bet they don't. I bet they really don't even own stock in them, so no.
Like a meat steak. You have to cook it medium well.
All right, so as I believe the only role player on the show, I'll read the one making fun of role players.
Okay.
There's something I've...
Nailed it. That was 7 pages away, by the way. Thank you very much.
Nice.
There's some things I've wondered about. Does anyone know if the deep dungeon will only be for disciples with magic and warriors? I'm just thinking if I want someone to roleplay while inside and maybe switch to, say, culinarian to make everyone a meal, will that be possible?
Oh my god.
I'm guessing there will be items, golems, or something to repair equipment with while inside if one doesn't have Disciple of the Hand to repair with. On a side note, it would also be awesome if there was some small way stations to leave random minor items for other random players playing in the other instances of the deep dungeon. For example, if someone wants to leave a care package or items they don't want or need.
What?
Listen, role-playing... Not in events, you jerk. People like you make it really hard for me to defend you.
And having the reference to the anime in there does no favors.
No, it makes my life hard.
Yes, it really does.
And the next person actually
Roleplay
had a good
responsibly, you
suggestion,
jerk.
though. No, yeah, they said if you want to RP, hang out before you go in, make a meal to prepare for your journey. Like, it's so easy to roleplay without actually being inside.
Straight up,
and
yeah.
doing
Go
that.
hang out in Quarry Mill or something like that. Just hang out for a little bit, do your roleplay, and then focus on the dungeon.
Yeah. Atmas should drop on the first fate. I did this on my old character. I started anew and was having a lot of fun with the game up till this point. And I've spent an hour trying to get just one. Heard they improved the drop rate, but I call BS. Regardless, I think at this point in the game, there's no reason to grind this heavily for the relic anymore, considering I bought a weapon off the marketplace that's a lot stronger. For this game has many changes to help bring new players to speed up the new content. Well, the Atma as part of the relic quest is something that still needs to be greatly improved. Just let the Atmas drop on the fates, please.
They spent an hour trying to get one. Did they not realize that the rest of us spent like 8 hours and still didn't see one?
Right?
Or
Papa Woody, you want to try and take one of these?
I'm trying to get this stuff to open in my iPod, but it's not working. So half of stuff is
Okay,
cut off.
I'm gonna click on this really stupid one sentence.
Yeah.
Like, okay, and
I
even
wanna
the
hear
original
Nika's shit post voice.
I don't really have a shit voice.
You need a shit voice.
Make a voice,
I have like
Nika.
I don't. Okay, but anyway, the first post isn't that bad, but it's what they post later on. So this is about when you get married to someone. It would be nice to know who is married and to who they got married, like something over the name or under it saying who they're married to.
How about you check them and see whose wedding ring they're wearing?
Right. Well, it says they wear their ring they're married. Like, does it tell you who they're married to? Like,
yes.
Yes. And then they're like, what did they say? So if they take the ring off, where does it say they're married?
It says they're trying to cheat, like when you take your wedding ring off in real life.
And then they said, that's the point. I mean, who's to say that someone should not play someone and take the ring off only to start drama? There needs to be a better way to tell if someone is married and not easily taken off and lied about.
Oh, make it stop.
Terrible.
Yeah, so
why is it dramatic
saying
shitposting always makes my position so hard to defend?
Especially because nobody really wears the ring anyway, so it's not like they're basically saying that you can in-game cheat by taking off your ring and not disclosing that you're married before flirting with someone, and then flirting with someone in the game, and then being, oh, sorry, I'm already married.
I feel like my balls are in a vice right now. This is horrible.
All of this drama, apparently.
We need ERP and cuckolding. That's what that needs to be a thing.
Yeah, sure. Why not? I hate it. I'm so mad.
Ooh.
It's just dumb. So dumb.
All right, so another one. Returning players left in the cold. So me and my friends, we're going to come back, and now we can finally get a place of our own and all the content that comes with that. Well, I come back to find the FC we left was gone and ran by a bot. I contacted GM about it. Sorry, we can't do anything about it because we are embedded to the FC, and even if we prove they are a bot, they will remove them as the FC leader. So, an FC leader was created by my friends and I, as we are owned to do, and had some random bot invited who now gets to control it. SC response, can't do nothing about that. Well, it's nice to see they care about more than one bot than they do about a group of friends who have played their game since the beginning.
Jeez.
All right. Ugh. This one's titled, Please Add the Leak Made. Hello, my fellow Americans. At some point, hopefully sooner rather than later, I would love to see the Leak Maid be added in to the Minion Ensemble. It would be adorable if when she and the Onion Prince meet, they dance around each other with hearts, or if they both did the blush emote. I keep hoping to see her mentioned every patch note and haven't seen her yet. Hoping that she hasn't been forgotten. Thank you. May God bless America.
Wait, who is this?
I don't know if I was doing Bill Clinton or Barack Obama, but it was one of them.
That's not a bad Obama.
That was not a bad. That was not. Yeah.
Obama.
Wait, so which character are they saying to add?
The Leak Maid.
I don't remember that.
I don't know.
I don't either.
I think it's original character Do Not Steal TM.
Oh.
This one, I don't really even have a voice for, but they're just basically asking, if we get Lords of Verminion, why can't our retainers fight too? I'm not even going to read that post. Just process that for a second. They should be able to compete against one another in a Gold Saucer Coliseum made specially for them.
This
It's just like slave fighting.
Yeah. Yeah. That's not. That's not the worst idea. I like
cockfight. Oh wait, it's by Nero. Never mind.
I like this one. This is one of my favorite. I have heard and read the complaints of others, not just myself, of being kicked for no reason. I think you should have to explain to us why we are being kicked and to be able to tell our side. Maybe we could just get rid of it, and maybe we can be able to kick someone that is AFK or DC'd for more than 5 minutes. Just being kicked out of a dungeon like I was earlier in Snowcloak for people not liking the way that you play or for the reason that someone is not just listening to them is outrageous. Someone that plays and pays good money, not just for this game, but for their subscription. Not just that, not everyone has all the time in the world to wait for the dungeon queues. So please, take this into consideration and stop the hate. Wow.
Man.
Stop the hate.
But she did say it was okay to kick people when they have different play styles and you're just not getting along. I'm pretty sure that was a thing.
Go fuck yourself.
I mean, if you really didn't think you did anything wrong, you can go to a GM and file for that.
Yeah, you can.
But what this person is proposing is having an arbiter of every time a vote kick is initiated, the person gets to write a response about why they shouldn't be vote kicked, and that's sent to a third party, probably a GM, and they get to judge the basis, the validity of that kick claim or not. Because that in no way at all has any kind of overuse of resources or is just a complete waste of anyone's fucking time.
So in the next patch, we will be implementing an arbiter for vote kick. Incidentally, we will also be only having one dungeon this patch.
Oh my God.
I wonder if they're employed by the government.
I don't think it would be necessarily bad for there to be more options than just AFK, offline, and harassment. I think it would be okay to have more options than that, and then to tell the person who's getting kicked why they were kicked, like what option.
I agree with that.
You're playing Ice Mage kicked.
You absolutely should have an explanation of why you were just kicked.
But then people are like, well, that could be seen as harassment then, and you could report that for them saying, oh, you're bad, that's why we kicked you. Oh, you're harassing me, blah 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 blah. I feel like in the end, it's a lose-lose.
But that's not fixing the situation because the person still ends up getting kicked. Shouldn't they at least have the information, like you are dog shit bad at this game, to be able to like improve themselves? Like the only thing that you're like saving anyone from, or like the only damage that you're preventing them from, is having their feelings hurt at that point, and they still got kicked.
A noble cause.
They still got kicked. It doesn't solve their problem, right? I mean, this just seems like a ridiculous, like a ridiculous question here. So,
all right,
ways of leveling. Please give us more ways of leveling to dungeon grinding or timed quests. Even things don't give enough XP for the amount of work done to complete them. I am currently stuck at level 47. My MSQ line does now pick up until level 49.
God.
And the only answer I get for the dungeon grab is dungeon grind or fake grind. Please give us some side quests for the love of God!
Oh, thanks for that, Ethel.
Oh, man. For anyone who thought that Juxta had a Muppet voice before, there's his actual Muppet voice.
Goals like us, we had it made. Those were the days.
Oh, Archie.
Wait, did they say they wanted more side quests?
Yes.
After all the Google quests, why do they want more?
Seriously.
I don't understand.
More
Seriously.
MSQ quests.
Ugh.
Oh, wait, I have one. It says, that's it. I give up. I'm leaving.
Oh.
No one appreciates me or the ideas I come up with to improve this game. Everyone on the forums speaks down to me like I'm an idiot. I'm done. This will be the last post I ever post. Goodbye, forums. Farewell. Good day. And apparently that same person creates a topic 7 days later about housing and gardening.
The old go-to. I'm leaving. See you in a week.
Bye-bye. Bye, Felicia.
Dum-dums. I love that the first response to that is see you tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Hello. Unfortunately for me, I work late on Wednesdays, and I get very little time to play before you do these maintenances. I understand.
Is maintenances in quotes? Like, because it sounds, when you read it, it sounds like you said it in quotes.
No, it's not in quotes.
Oh, okay. I would have been even funnier.
I understand Wednesday nights.
I don't know about Wednesday night maintenance.
Wednesday nights. They're usually Monday nights.
Yeah. I understand the importance of maintenance, but what I'm asking is that you alternate from time to time. Have one on a Tuesday, have maybe one on a Thursday, and maybe even have one on a Sunday. It doesn't always have to be on a Wednesday.
I love the way you read that.
I love shit posting.
Dude, okay, shit posting is like, that makes the forums worth it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a feedback and suggestion forum where this was posted, so it's a suggestion and it's feedback.
It's bad on both of those fronts.
There's a thread on here that was apparently mixed up with the shit posting, because this is a very important one.
Oh.
It's the Shady Smock idle stance. Well, I'll read the thread. You should probably open it up and post the GIFs onto the stream, because it's very important. Okay, I'll read the thread.
Booty.
When will they implement so girls can have the Shady Smock idle stance? Very seducing. Colon 3. And mesmerizing. She's such a tease.
Which character is this, though? Is she just during the Halloween event?
Oh, my.
Yeah. This is not a shit post.
Yeah, it's not a shit post,
This is
but
a
it's
glorious post. Praise the Lord.
Is she just a Halloween character? Because I don't remember who she is.
I have no idea.
All right. This is not a shit post or a thread.
Hello, Kitty.
And
but this is the funniest thing I've seen since Taru Toucher Pedalocks back in the FF11 days. There is apparently on Gilgamesh a Rogadin named Convicted Lolophile who gives out hugs and candy to Lolophiles on Gilgamesh.
There's pictures.
And there's a picture for it. It is hysterical.
That is terrifying. That is 100% terrifying.
Oh my gosh! And he has like a balding head with the hair on the side and glasses and a little stash.
It is the greatest.
What?
Oh my god! Look at that little stash. That is the most creeper face if you've ever seen a creeper face.
Yeah, that is a pretty good creeper face, I gotta say.
Oh my god,
that's
it's
not bad.
So perfect.
That is not bad at all.
What sells it is the Lolophil wearing the bunny ears, standing across from him.
It's a little Walter White-ish. I don't know.
It is a little Walter White-ish.
A little Walter
right.
White-ish, yeah. Creepy. All right, so that'll conclude our dramatic shit post theater. Thank you guys for checking that out. If you want to actually send us some of your favorite shit posts, like if you go to the official forums for some reason, I don't know, maybe you hate yourself, and you find some of your favorite shit posts, make sure to send them our way because we'd love to read them on the air. All right, it's been a couple of weeks since we've sat down and gotten to read some emails, so why don't we read some emails, including this first one. They didn't include a name.
Oh, wait. So we have to go back to not using like stupid voices, right?
Yes.
Okay, we're back to being serious? Okay.
That's right.
You can have fun voices, though.
That's right. So this person didn't include a name with their email.
Make up a name.
But, all right. Butt Cheese McStanky. Says,
I'm sure that's close.
Says it would be nice to see an item level requirement for certain dungeons, more so for Aether Chemical Research Facility and up. I see too many new players who do the content for the first time, and they perhaps have an item level of 110 weapon, maybe 140 to 145 if you're lucky. Since weapon damage makes such a huge difference in damage or healing overall, it tends to make the whole dungeon run a lot slower. It is just kind of frustrating because those runs tend to take an hour or more to do at times. The requirement shouldn't be high, just high enough for that dungeon. Using the same example, the research facility, it should be a requirement that a item level 150 weapon should be required to enter. You can actually purchase this right outside the same zone, so I don't see why this would be a problem. Or maybe for the final main scenario quest, they should reward the player with an HQ weapon of item level 150. Even without the reward, it's easily obtainable.
Wait, Ethereal Chemical Research Facility didn't have an eye level requirement?
It does. I'm looking at them right now. Every dungeon from Ethereal Chemical Research Facility on up has an eye level requirement.
He's saying a weapon eye level requirement.
Specifically weapon.
Weapon eye level requirement. Yeah.
Because that's much more effective on your damage.
Yeah, I could see that.
Okay.
I can see that.
I guess if your weapon had to be the same, like the average item level has to be 142 for Chemical Research Facility. So if your weapon had to at least be 142, that would make sense.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Especially because, like he says, you can buy one in that zone.
Yeah, I think that's completely reasonable. If you are leveling and you have a 110 weapon at
past level 50.
Yeah, seriously, God damn.
Getting 110 is like that's not even the end of level 50.
Wasn't Ironworks gear like 130?
120.
Yeah, 130 was the end. Yeah, 120 and 130 was the upgraded Ironworks.
Yeah,
and the Dreadworm.
Yeah.
Dreadworm was 130.
Right.
And 135.
Right. So yeah, easily done. Wouldn't be a big change. Who wants to take the next team?
I got it. Hey hosts, it's the Hero Maniac writing in from Cactuar again. I was writing in to give my own thoughts on the whole issue about the jumping potion, or rather what SE could do to instead of introduce it. From spending a large amount of time in the Novice Network as a mentor, the most common complaint I've seen from the Sprouts hasn't been so much that the majority of the 3.0 content is story-gated, it has been that the 3.0 jobs are story-gated. It seems to me that aside from the media's complaints, a significant portion of the whining about 3.0 being story-gated would be reduced if the jobs hadn't been.
That's actually an interesting interesting point.
I still don't understand why they're level 30.
I don't either. It really didn't make a whole
But the
lot of
thing
sense.
is you access them in Ishgard, and you can't get to Ishgard until you get there in the story. It wouldn't make sense.
Oh shit! You're right.
Well,
wow,
guess
that
what?
makes a lot of sense. Actually,
Move those fucking trainers not in Ishgard. You can have quests take place there, but
But
have
the
the
thing is-
fucking things be elsewhere.
But this is the thing, is that your character story-wise is not allowed to enter Ishgard. They actually pretty much say, we don't like outsiders, go the fuck away. And the thing is that for the guilds are in Ishgard. So for the manufactory, a big story of it and a big part of it is that it's in Ishgard, and
It's
actually the story of the machinist is like a between houses, and the lords of the houses are actually kind of sparring with each other. And if you're not in Ishgard, it makes no sense.
I feel like you could still be a level 1 version because you wouldn't start doing like you could still have like the quest not start till 30.
I feel like that's a great point. That
So you can level it 1 to 30, but you have to
Yes.
level a different job to 50 to finish the story, and then
it
switch
would be
back to it.
Yeah, it would be like a mini quest to start you off, something like that.
I would say no one complained about having to do that in 11, but I'd be lying. Everyone complained.
Yeah, that's true.
It seems to me that aside from the media's complaints, I'm sorry. While I approve of the jobs being located out of Ishgard due to their lore, perhaps moving forward into 4.0, what SE could do is not make the entire 4.0 zone story gated, but make anything new still be story gated. We talked about that.
Right.
So new players could potentially explore the 4.0 zones and pick up the new jobs, but they wouldn't be able to do the quests in the area or unlock any of the dungeons or other content until they caught up on the MSQ. This way, it would be similar to a low-level person traveling to Mordona. Yes, they can go there and walk around the area, but it would be inadvisable as the enemies in the zone would be a higher level than the character. Anyway, that's all I have for today. Keep up the good work from the Hero Maniac.
Thank you for that email. A lot of good suggestions in there. I don't know. I could see that working. And yeah, that was. I think that was the biggest drawback of story gating any of the content was if somebody wants to lay the job, then yeah, they've got to actually do a whole lot of footwork to be able to unlock
and
that.
I can definitely see that a lot of people probably saw, like, oh, Dark Knight's in the game. Now I'll jump in.
Yeah, I could see that. All right, so we've got a couple of older emails here. Who wants to take this email from Taser? Nika, you want to take this?
That's the next one?
Yeah.
'Cause I don't even see where it says it's from Taser.
Yeah. It would that would be the one right below the Hero Mania.
Okay, sure. It says, hey, LBR crew, I'm just a nobody. There's nothing wrong with being a nobody. That wanted to discuss some personal feelings on 2.0 leading into 4.0. I see the whole 3.0 expansion as a live beta for 4.0. SE at this point has a standard for what is expected with each update content-wise. This was ironed out in 2.0 to 2.5, but not only expanded on current content, but they also wanted to add in new content. So how do they go about doing this without the use of beta tests? Simple, create an expansion so they can see what their community likes and dislikes about the new content. This is like learning within a live environment. There's a huge risk, but you get better results. I like to think there is content that backs this theory, like Lord of Verminion. I'm about 95% sure nobody from the community really wanted this, but SE twisted some feedback from the community and wanted to see how the community would accept this. In short, I like to look back at 3.0 as a live beta for 4.0 to help make FF14 better again. What do you think of this theory?
Well, I think we talked about that a little bit.
I almost feel like that's incorrect. I want to say that what I thought was that 2.0 was the beta for 3.0, and yet 3.0 is exactly the same as 2.0.
Yeah.
So that's my problem with thinking 3.0 is a beta, because 2.0 was exactly the same.
No, but we've seen a lot of new events come out in 3.0 that we're going to wait to see expanded on in 4.0 this time, whereas in 2.0 they followed a very similar formula all the way through. We didn't see tons of new events being introduced into the game.
I don't know. I think they're throwing out a few new events as a test, sure, but saying that the entire expansion is a live beta for the next expansion is incorrect, because every single patch follows the same update. They give you the raid, and they give you the 24-man, and they give you the end game raid, and they get 24-man. Like, it's literally the exact same thing. We all loved 3 dungeons, and now we only actually got 2. So clearly, like, something is, I don't know. I don't think that that's exactly true. I do think that obviously each time they put out something new is going to be a test for future content. Like, that's obvious. Yeah. But I don't think you can claim the entire expansion as a beta.
No, I don't think that you can. And I think I'd be really disappointed if that was Square Enix's approach. I think that, I mean, and not only that, but I think it also sets expectations way too high for 4.0. It makes it sound like 4.0 is going to come in and be some kind of god patch.
And I think what it was is that when Yoshi P took over 1.0, before 1.0 was over, when Yoshi P took over, the game did change dramatically.
Yeah.
Like, the entire system was overwritten and changed before 1.0 was over. And I think that in itself was the beta, and then 2.0 came as the God patch.
Yeah.
And that was really it.
Yeah, I agree. So I made a mistake. I thought that email was from Taser Smurf. Then this next email is from Taser Smurf. That was from some anonymous person. Thank you, anonymous person, for writing that email.
You want to take this one?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Hey, LBR, you remember all those times you would say no one gives a flying fuck about crafting? Well, I was one of those who was in the other camp until Wednesday night. On that night, my FC was hosting a party, and when it came to the second event, which was my baby, there came crickets.
Game over.
The event I was in charge of and worked hard preparing for was a cooking contest in which we would give you the mats to a recipe, and you would have to out HQ those competing against you. Winner would keep their HQs. Now, I only had one other helper monkey up till about an hour before, after constant asking and complaining. I had stuff for level 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and 60. I even had stuff for any tiebreakers. Got 3 signups while the naked lawn darts was going 12 rounds.
Jeez.
And none for anything below 50. The whole day I wanted to ignore the nagging feeling that this was going to fall and come close to dying in a dumpster fire. Unfortunately, that feeling wasn't wrong. So thanks to Midgard Stormer and my FC for helping to prove the LBR hosts right about crafting. Also, even though I know those few who did help or try to help me and not ignore me like normal, I give you my thanks, even if Zero is the only one who will hear it. For those who use the, but it's most people's raid night, I'm just going to point to the glamour contest and the naked lawn darts. Can't really use that as a reason when 2 out of 3 parts of the party were highly successful. Sincerely, a heartbroken Taser Smurf.
Ouch.
I actually think that's kind of a neat contest idea, like
Yeah.
for how limited the game is and what you can do outside of its functions or whatever. The stuff people come up with is pretty
Yeah,
creative.
I hate crafting, but I got a level 50 culinary and I would enter in that.
Yeah, and like
that sounds fun actually.
Yeah, and
Really, I get to take the
in
things from other people.
other video games, the funnest mini games are always the cooking contest. So I feel like other solo player games.
Far be it for us to encourage crafting, but Taser, I'm going to go ahead and say fuck your FC. What the hell?
I
That
want to
sounds fun.
say that cooking, though, is the least used out of the crafting.
But she had some for level 10, 20, and 30 all the way up. How hard? Like most people have a level 10 culinary.
Yeah. I'm just saying, throwing that out there, is not a lot of interest in that.
I suppose, but like thematically, if you got like, what else is there to do on a Tuesday night?
It's an FC party with 3 events, and you're going to be there. Why not just sign up for all of them?
What are you going to do? What are you doing? Well, you have something to do.
On Tuesday night? What is there to do in that?
Nothing. There's nothing to do. It's boring.
Obviously Tuesday night is reset and people are rating it.
Yeah.
So it's- But like, if you're doing an FC party and you're at your FC's party anyway, just sign up for all the events. I don't see why not.
And then don't show up. Yeah, it's a great idea.
But they signed up for the other events that worked.
I mean, I would have signed
Oh, I'm sorry. It was a Wednesday night.
I mean, I don't have.
Oh, that's why no one showed up. There was maintenance.
I don't have. Good callback.
Good joke, Papa. I like that.
No, you are not giving credit to the intern, you piece of shit.
Hey, credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I hate you.
But yeah, no, I don't have a culinarian that I would have been able to use in that, so I think I would have overlooked it. But it does sound like you put in a lot of work on that, and sorry that it didn't go well. That sort of sucks.
But welcome to our side of the crafting argument.
That is true. Our next email comes from Mass Curse Drakiel of Midgar Somer. And they write, "Greetings, hosts. I wanted to bring forth a quick point re the constant talks about a potential jumping potion for FF14. Let me be clear from the get-go, the idea appalls me. It's way too early for such a thing in FF14, but that opinion has been stated so many times that I had to come up with a counterpoint. It's my nature. Deal with it. Anyway, this is in regards to a point made on your last show. This would have been a couple of shows ago. Multiple times that it is impossible for a player to hop to level 60 to ever be good at their class. Skipping all the leveling process is absolutely crazy, and you will never be able to understand your class enough to raid, seem to be the consensus for most of the hosts and the callers, and I want to disagree with that sentiment. For any of you that have leveled Arcanist, you would probably know that this is the same base class for both Summoner and Scholar. I leveled my first job to 50 as a Scholar, didn't even give Summoner the time of day. I did the class story just so I could have another job stone, really, since I needed Thaumaturge for Swiftcast. However, once I reached level 50, I started raiding and I left the game for a while. Came back several months later and joined a different FC and wanted to start raiding again. However, no teams were were in need of a scholar. I was offered a spot as a summoner. Again, I had no experience as a summoner at this point, but I had a small amount of experience as a DOT-based caster from Star Wars: The Old Republic. It wasn't easy, and it wasn't overnight. Read, I got good, but I was able to clear all the way through T9, which was fresh content at the time. I still primarily play Summoner to this day, even though I did not level as that class. So the point is that while your point that most players not being able to do this is valid, it is indeed possible to raid as a class you did not level in the game. Anyway, thanks for reading the email, and I hope that the atrocity that is the jumping potion does not actually occur. That's from Mass Curse Draciel. Which Mass Curse brings up Mass Curse brings up a good point in that there was a few of us in this show that woke up from 1.0 to 2.0 and had a fully leveled character. And obviously, the amount of stuff that they changed between 1.0 and 2.0, it was not the same game. You
still had to go through the level sync dungeons and stuff.
Yes, but we did have to learn, the job all over
we weren't just jumping into level 60, level 50 raids at that point in time. And while I do see what he's saying, my argument to this is that you still learned the game mechanics. You still understood a lot of the spells and things because you played as Scholar. Whereas if someone was brand new day one and they're like, I want to join and do Heavensward endgame content, I have a 60 character, I'm gonna go, you literally don't even know what a combo is.
Well, I think actually what speaks to that point a little bit better is, yes, there are going to be, it is absolutely a skill that you can learn. It is not impossible to learn. You don't have to go through the leveling process to be able to raid, essentially. It is not 100% essential to the process. The thing is, though, is that the type of person that would want to fast forward through that through the leveling portion of the game is also the type of person that will not put the time or the effort in to learning their job.
And it's
categorically.
It's not just that, dude. It's when you go level 1 to 60 in this game, you are learning to play your class and learning to play the game at the expense of your time and your effort and your energy and your life in the game.
Right.
If you go straight to level 60, you are learning to play your class in your game at the expense of your other level 60 groups, not at your own expense.
Right. I mean, it's not clearly it's not impossible. Clearly, that's not an impossible task. There have been more than enough of us that have proved that it's not impossible to be able to do it, okay? But the thing is that the type of play that encourages is not beneficial to the overall health of an MMO environment. Because we've seen it happen before. We've seen other MMOs go after an audience grab, and they basically get the same sort of initial interest that a free-to-play MMO will grab. Your Black Desert Onlines, your Blade and Soul, all of you weak motherfuckers who abandoned this game for Blade and Soul.
Welcome back, by the way.
And I said you'd be back in 4 weeks. Yeah, I know you're back. Congratulations. But yeah, you would see the same initial surge that those games see, but then you would see the same sharp fall off, and it wouldn't just be the players that you gained in the interim, it would be your long-term players that are also falling off at that point, and that just spells disaster overall for your game. And I just think that would be the death nail for FF14, especially to do it right now. Right nail
Van Darnus.
Let's take at least two more emails here. Juxta, how about you read this next one since it's nice and short?
Sure.
And it doesn't have ambivalent in it.
Tenchimuyo.
Hey, it's Tenchimuyo on Twitch. Yufayoto on Quora server. Just emailing because you're the best podcast to listen to at work or when I'm at home with my 2-year-old on Sunday with Twitch on the screen laughing away.
Well, wait, your 2-year-old's listening to the show?
They don't retain anything anyway. It's fine.
Oh, okay.
As of tomorrow, I'm joining Patreon to show my support.
Woohoo! Yeah.
I'm a casual player. Most characters are at 50, and I just love logging on to do nothing.
This is the game for you.
Yeah.
Just like the days of FF11, sitting in Hueno, looking at all the shouts.
Bueno.
Oh my
You
God.
monster.
Well, no, he didn't. He spelled it wrong. It's not spelled Juno. They spelled Hueno. If you look
my
at the
God, he
vowels.
did.
Oh my God, it
Oh
is.
my God, it is
The
spelled
vowels are
Bueno.
backwards.
Oh, okay.
Juxta, I apologize. Juxta, I apologize.
Sitting in Hueno, looking at all the charts on my Bard and my workmates at GameStop in Linkshell. Anywho, just an email to say you're the best, and I will, quote, keep listening.
Thank you, Tenchi Muyo. We appreciate your support over at patreon.com/Limit Break Radio. Again, if you want to help support the show, this show is supported right now by your dollars. And there's a couple of different ways. If you want to give to the show that you can do that, you can hit the PayPal link that's right below this stream. You can donate while we're live and have a funny text-to-voice voice come in and read your message, and I'll have to put it on the show. It makes me do a whole bunch of editing work after we finish recording the show.
He hates it.
Yeah, I mean, no, you can't.
Mixed blessing. You can't hate people giving you money.
Hate getting money in, but at the same time, I'm like, God, that's a lot of work. So that's one way that you can support the show. Another way, if you like our game streaming and you want to see that continue to grow, subbing here on Patreon for subbing here on Twitch for $4.99 a month is a great way to keep our constant streams going. We've had the stream up almost every day.
Yeah.
Almost every day.
I had someone donate $50 after I beat Ornstein and Smau in Dark Souls.
Yeah.
By the way, that fight's amazing. Oh.
Whose fantasy is it anyways? Told me I was one of the worst LBR listeners and I won't have that. Here's 14 for my favorite 14 stream podcast.
That's fun. Thank you. Yeah. That was a nice pause there. Nice
What'd you ask,
dramatic pause.
Nika?
So whose fantasy is it anyway?
Do you ever listen to the show when you're not here?
Wow, you're a terrible.
It was a bit that we did when we played improv games on the show.
Oh, yeah. I didn't realize that's what you called it. I was reading that stuff.
Yeah.
Sure you were.
For some reason, I don't believe you, Nika.
I was reading. I didn't listen to the show, but I read the host chat.
So anyway, XFun, thank you for that. We appreciate it. But of course, the way that our programming is supported, this show, our other show, Final Encountercast, that you can find at finalencountercast.com, and coming up next at 5 o'clock at twitch.tv/Final Encountercast. That is all supported through your support over at patreon.com/Limit Break Radio. Now, people think that like just $1 a month doesn't help. And the thing is I just want to point out that we've got like 170 patrons, 170 separate people that give money to the show. And all of the money that we take in is put towards the production of this show. So, if you really like this show, if you listen to it every single week, if you listen to Final Encountercast every single week, or maybe it's your first time checking out Final Encountercast today, every dollar that we take in over at patreon.com/Limit Break Radio goes to help growing our content. And that's what we feel you guys like the most. One of our biggest criticisms since we started doing this show in 2006 is we just want more. We just want more of the show.
What a great criticism.
It is the best criticism that you could get. And it's tough because, we all have jobs that we have to maintain. We all have, aspirations. And, we can't just quit our day jobs and do this all the time, as much as we would like to. And the thing that helps us be able to produce the show, the thing that helps us to be able to do cool things like going out to FanFest, taking all of us out to FanFest this year, having the proper equipment to make sure that this show is live and can take your calls every single week, making sure that this show is put up and podcasted on time. Everything that you give at patreon.com/Limit Break Radio goes towards making sure all of that happens. And so even just giving $1 a month, you're saying that you want to join the 170 people that have laid down the money already that have enabled us to improve the show immensely in the time that we have been asking you for money. I mean,
if half of our listening audience gave $1 a month, we'd all quit our jobs and do this full time.
That's exactly it.
Every one of us would. Well, maybe not Nico, but most of us would quit our jobs.
She would
and do this
quit.
full time.
We would make her one way or another.
But that's the thing, though, is that 170 people. There's way more than 170 people that download and enjoy the show. And just as Ascalia said, if half of our audience gave $1, then we wouldn't need to come to ask you for money.
Nope.
Our patron would be banging. And we would be able to do a whole lot more cool stuff, like the giveaways for Final Symphony, or the giveaways that, for LBR swag that we do here.
That giveaway for Final Symphony would include airfare.
Yeah. We would have loved to do that. We really would. And so I think that you guys end up seeing the benefit on the back end. You guys get more of the product that you love on the back end when you give to patreon.com/Limit Break Radio. And I want to encourage, even if you've been on the fence, even if you only have $1 to give, do it, because we want to see that number of patrons shoot up. We want to get it above 200. We want more than 200 people supporting this show. That's our goal. So I'd like to be able to come to you guys next week and say, we met our goal of getting 200 patrons.
And if the website is kind of what turns you off, Patreon's super easy to use. Ask any of our patrons in the chat. They'll tell you Patreon is super easy.
It really is. It really is.
It's a lot easier than Play Online.
Okay, yeah, that is not a good standard set.
Well, but I mean,
But yes, it is.
If you can navigate Play Online, you can navigate Patreon. Don't worry.
If you can navigate to your bathroom, you can navigate Patreon.
But as I said at the beginning of the show, we are also working on ways to be able to grow our content without having to just ask you for money. We appreciate the foundation that you have given us. You've given us a wonderful opportunity to prove to other people that the content that we make is good and worth listening to. And fortunately, we have been able to make some inroads convincing people that that make these kinds of decisions, that we're the guys to do it, that we're the crew to do it. So what you could see on the other side of that is the
What is a pipata? A miserable little pile of secret.
Good one, worse one. But yeah, I really want to encourage everyone. We're trying to do what we can to make this new content pan out, and the possibility that it might be, we're looking at something like 5 days a week, I think is very cool. I think that's very exciting. You guys should be super excited for that.
We know we are.
If you love this show, then it's something to be excited about. But in the meantime, I want to see more than 200 patrons over at patreon.com/Limit Break Radio before the next time we do this show. Thank you guys for joining us today. That's going to do it for Limit Break Radio. LimitBreakRadio.com is the website. If you've been listening today and enjoying the show, hit that follow button. Join us each and every single Sunday, starting at 1 p.m. That's when the show starts. We allow you to call the show and get in on all of the fun here. It's an interactive show. Add us on Skype, Limit Break Radio, 810-515-8715. Go ahead and plug that into your phone, or bookmark limitbreakradio.com/Discord. Come back, hang out with us next Sunday. Give us a call. We're going to be talking about Deep Dungeon. We're going to want to know what you've been doing in Deep Dungeon, how you feel about it. We've been talking about this for weeks, talking about it as if it may be the savior of FF14. Does it live up to the hype? Call us next week and let us know. We're going to want to hear from you. That's at twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio. LimitBreakRadio.com is the website. Facebook.com/Limit Break Radio. At Limit Break Radio on Twitter. Guys, thank you again so much for joining us live here for episode number 72. I want to thank my crew. We got Kooky Persona, who's been answering phones. Papa Woody has been chiming in the background and providing us drinks. And of course, our crew. Got Juxtaposition, Ascalia Ryumasa, Nika Kayanian. My name's Nero. Keep listening. Limit Break Radio is a production of LimitBreakRadio.com and Bender Media Productions. Today's episode was produced by Kalo Landis and The Skuro. Final Fantasy XIV and Eorzea are trademarks of Square Enix. Funding for Limit Break Radio is provided by Miri Kennett, Captain Failboat, Zurian Urexen, Azura Giacho, Bianca Forwin, Kalina Ashsaber, Thor Carson, My Waifu, Satori Komeji, Darbykins, Sakura-chan, and fellow Limit Break Radio listeners. To support Limit Break Radio, visit patreon.com/Limit Break Radio. Opening music in this episode from Daniel Lambie. Listen to Man with the Machine Gun and other great tracks at facebook.com/Daniel Lambie Metal Gamer. Closing music in this episode provided by Husky by the Geek. Listen to this and other great Final Fantasy XIV and video game rock covers and original music at facebook.com/Husky by the Geek. In-game graphics for Limit Break Radio's Twitch stream are provided by Diamond Multimedia. Check out their line of AMD graphics cards and other hardware at diamondmm.com. Limit Break Radio and its hosts are solely responsible for its content.